guys. Welcome to Game Stuff Podcasts, the weekly video game podcast from people who make games.
Yeah.
Talking about
Is that
games?
a question?
Talking about games?
Yeah, we're talking. Well,
is that what we're
both
doing
of
here?
those. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not making games right now.
I'm Brad Snyder.
And I'm Sean Crick. And
This week we have a very
super
special
exciting
guest.
Really exciting, really huge guest.
We welcome to the stage of the Game Stuff Studios. What's his name?
Shit. What's your name again? Ryan
Ehrenberg.
Ryan Ehrenberg.
Ryan Ehrenberg.
Oh, yes. He's a robot. I forgot.
Also known as BigRig.
BigRig.
So, okay, first off, like before we really get into anything here, just real quick, where the fuck does BigRig come from?
Yeah, where does that come from? I don't actually know.
So, I once lived in Long Beach, California.
Whoa,
Whoa,
dude,
gross.
wow, that's so
Beach.
cool.
That's so gross.
The longest beach. And on my way to work, I stopped by a 7-Eleven, and a young gentleman.
Why am I laughing already?
This isn't even the funny part of the story.
I was almost choking on my water already.
You shouldn't be drinking. All right. So, Long Beach, 7-Eleven. I just wander in, and I'm a taller guy, a bigger guy.
Oh, okay, bigger guy.
Yeah,
Whoa, big
not
guy.
a big rig yet.
No, not yet.
But a gentleman just walked up to me, and I thought he was going to ask for change or something, and he just said, "Hey, what's up, Big Rig?" And I was like,
what?
"That's the
That's
weirdest.
really it?
That's the weirdest
Wait,
thing."
just a guy at 7-Eleven?
You let some
No, a
homeless
guy- He came
up with that
stranger
killer name?
decide your name.
A homeless person outside of
a
7-Eleven.
homeless person.
He walked up to me. He called me Big Rig. I chuckled. I was like, not much, and went in. I told someone at work. Of course, they were like, "That's hilarious. We're gonna call you Big Rig," and so that kind of stuck.
Oh, man.
And I've been Big Rig ever since.
You can't escape it. Well, the funniest thing is when you started at Respawn, like you walked into that. Like you were like, you came in and I was like, "Hey guys, my name's Ryan Ehrenberg. People call me Big Rig."
But please don't.
And
No,
like
come on.
immediately the whole place just like blew up. You know,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
like lit up after that, and it was like you can't escape that name.
Yeah, no. Well, to be fair, at the time the company was smaller.
Yeah.
and there was
Like
already
50 people,
there was
maybe,
already a
50%.
Ryan, and so they asked me before the meeting. They said, "Okay,
Oh, can we call you something else,
No, they were
please?
like, "Look, if you don't have a nickname ready, they're gonna just throw out something. It's gonna be horrible. It's gonna stick."
That's
Do
true.
you
Mine was
have it?
Van Wilder for the longest time.
That's a good
That makes
nickname,
sense.
though. That's a fine
They-
nickname.
they-
You look nothing like him whatsoever, but
No, he
I think I look
works out.
exactly like him.
So the issue is that they were like, "Okay, well, what's your gamer tag?" And my gamer tag is way dumber. Like, you don't want to be called like Toothpaste 64 or something.
Right.
why would you go with 64 when 69 is right there?
Because N64.
Duh.
Okay. Did you have
I
a
don't know if
gamer
you're.
tag on
I don't know if you're a
N64?
gamer.
Yeah, dude, do you know anything about games, bro?
No, that's not actually my gamer tag. It's a Reddit reference. Anyway, so I decide to share my Big Rig name, and everyone
With
laughed.
everyone, yeah.
Yeah, and poor Jake Virginia, who started with me, who was fresh out of school, I think.
Yeah, he was.
He had to follow up the guy with the crazy Big Rig
Yeah,
story.
everyone erupted into laughter, and then
and they're
Jake
like,
came up.
"So
and was like,
I'm Jake."
Is his last name really Virginia? though?
Virginia.
"They call me Virginia."
Yeah, and so I think Vince was the one who's like, Jake's like, "I don't really have a name," and
He doesn't even have a regular name. No, a nickname.
a nickname, and because there was already a Jake, and
Yeah.
so I think Vince was the one who yelled out Virginia, and so he's still a little salty that I have a cooler nickname from
Yeah.
day one, but that's okay.
Big Rig, we want to welcome you to the show, man. It's
Welcome.
really exciting to have you here.
Thank you.
If you're listening and you don't know what this is Game Stuff Podcast. It's a weekly podcast where two guys who make games, and sometimes they're friends who also make games, show up and we just talk about the latest video game news.
Yeah.
All kinds of crazy
game
stuff.
And related stuff.
Related stuff. You can find us on iTunes, we're on Google Play now as of this week.
Oh, yeah, that's big.
That's big.
That's big.
Huge.
For all you Android users.
Androiders out there.
Androids.
The Androiders.
Maybe get a real phone
Big Rig's an
next time.
Androider over here.
I am an Androider.
And we're on SoundCloud. You can find us on Twitter at GameStuffPod. You can write in to be a part of the show at GameStuffPodcast@gmail.com. You can leave us reviews on iTunes, because right now there is a contest going on where if you leave a review on iTunes, you will get 2 entries into a drawing where we'll be doing this in 2 weeks. The Reddit community has already been taking part of this, but in 2 weeks we'll be doing a drawing for a free game, and then there's also going to be the free game drawing for the specific 1 in 10 iTunes reviews. Since we're above 10 iTunes reviews, I think we're at almost 20 now.
Woo!
Crazy!
What?
Yeah, people are listening and they're writing in, and sometimes we get 4 stars.
Next up.
No, what's the price of this podcast, Brad?
The price?
Yeah.
It's free.
For you, it's
What?
free.
Yeah.
Wow.
No. Actually, if you're a guest on the podcast, you have to pay. But
Well, yeah.
to make
the podcast listening
because
is free.
to get on this show, obviously BigRig had
Yeah.
to pay a big sponsorship to the show
Right,
because I
right.
mean this is going to blow him up.
I mean,
afterwards.
we're providing
Yeah.
free water
yeah, we
in a cowabunga glass. So.
And
Go
I
on.
just wanted to ask, which of these cameras is on? Because I spent a lot of time on my makeup, so I don't want to.
No, they're all
All of them are
They're
on.
all on,
okay.
but we switch between them at any time, and you won't know.
Yeah.
Okay, is that why I'm sitting on that toilet-shaped camera?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
The ones in the bathroom are super high quality.
Okay, all right, okay.
All right, so let's just get right into it, Sean.
All right.
I think I'm just gonna have to ask something. I don't know if I really want to ask it, but I'm gonna have to ask it.
Yeah?
And that question is, what have you been playing?
Who are you asking?
I'm asking you, Sean.
Me first?
I'm gonna ask you first.
Why do you think I don't play games?
I don't know.
I
man.
can see it in your eyes.
I'm just asking. Just
Here,
asking.
I'll tell you what
Tell
I've
me a
been
little bit
playing.
of what you've been playing.
I've been playing a game
Okay.
called Abzu. That's right.
Abzu.
Abzu.
Or Abzu, I don't know. It's basically
That sounds crazy, dude.
it is crazy, and it's a really cool name. And I wish I could
Is
name
it?
something. Yeah,
It
is.
sounds
What
like
does
you just
Abzu
said
even
Abzu.
mean?
It's so unique. It's an abstract name where it's like you have no idea what it is.
That sounds
but
terrible.
Nothing else sounds
Who's
like
gonna
it.
go to
It's
the
a
store and be
zoo.
like, "Can I get Abzu?"
Well, it's an
A zoo for animals. Only instead of animals, it's abs.
Oh,
Ew.
That's all. Just
God.
abs.
So gross.
I'm just picturing like walking around and just like looking at like different
Look,
levels of
abs.
six
Just
packs,
six
packs
like
everywhere.
a torso just in a cage,
But they're making monkey
Yeah.
noises.
and they're like vibrating as they're talking.
Ooh, what if it shows animals' abs like a lion's abs,
Ooh.
a monkey's abs? Like
Okay.
how different are they? They're not that different.
So
That's
like
the
it's just
thing.
a bunch of
Yeah.
like fucking totally shredded animals in a zoo. Like,
See, you
everyone's
guys
just
know
so
exactly
super
what it is.
jacked.
Okay, so
the
all right.
name is
Sorry, I
self-explanatory.
derailed you.
Oh, so that's
Tell
what
us
the
about
game
the
is.
abs
That's
zoo.
what the game is.
Oh man.
Well, what the game
All right,
really
I'm gonna
is.
go down. I already downloaded it.
Two
right now.
words. You probably did download it, so don't act like you didn't. It was free. With
I also
PlayStation
downloaded
Plus. You did?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's Underwater Journey. Mm-hmm. It is Journey with a scuba diver, and if you've played Journey, it's just like a very relaxing experience, and it's not really story driven, more emotion driven. So it's all about the music, it's all about the art, it's all about just like immersing yourself in this world and transporting yourself away from the doldrums
Away from where,
of
Sean?
your life.
Where are you trying to get? What are you trying to get away from?
From the crippling depression.
From the dull
That
and
is-
failure.
dull work.
that is
that
human
is
life.
your life.
Yeah,
and so far I love it.
Yeah, I downloaded it myself, as
Okay.
you said.
And so wait,
it
are
was
you,
it
hold
was
up,
free.
Big Rig, hold up.
Yes.
Like,
Are you playing
wait,
it?
hold up. What are you playing?
What am I playing?
What are you playing?
It's
Are
a
you
little
playing
embarrassing. It's embarrassing. Okay. I'm
Not
playing
okay.
Titanfall 2.
Oh my god. He's
Okay.
the other user. We have the 2 Titanfall 2 players in the room
Right here.
now.
a special occasion.
No, I play Titanfall 2. I enjoy it. You guys, kind of failed. You didn't even explain what I do or anything, but I do work with Brad.
Oh well, no, that comes up after what have you been playing?
Oh,
Yeah,
well,
we've got a very specific plan here. Okay?
I'm sorry. I've
Strategy.
never listened to you. This is
No,
this is a really
this
bad
is totally
podcast.
planned. Fine. You know what? Let's derail. What are you playing right now for the fucking
Oh.
guy over here
Yeah,
who
let's
wants
just
everyone to know who he
derail
is?
already.
Okay, hey.
No, out of context,
Ryan,
it made
BigRig-
sense.
Ryan-
It made sense because we were talking about what you're playing, and in context, if I say Titanfall 2, it sounds disingenuous if you know
Right.
that I worked on Titanfall 2.
That's true.
So you want it to
let's
sound
pretend for-
disingenuous?
let's pretend
Is that
for
what
now.
you're saying?
No, I'm saying. All right. Start. Ask me again. Ask me
Okay,
again.
hold
Go.
on.
Oh, wait, no.
Well, you know what?
Reset.
Guys, we have a special guest today, Ryan BigRig Ehrenberg. Let's find out what he does.
Hey, can you
Okay,
tell
so-
us a little about
Hey,
you?
Yeah,
Ryan,
so-
hold up. Can you just say, what do you do?
Yeah. So I right now I'm playing Titanfall 2,
No,
and
now
I'm
what are you
playing Zelda,
playing?
and. I don't. I heard your question. I choose not to respond to that.
I like this.
This is interesting.
I
This
like
is
this
a
a
whole
lot.
new twist.
No, so first of all, I'm playing Titanfall 2.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I worked on Titanfall 2, whatever. And
Whatever.
Whatever.
No big deal.
No big
big
deal.
Would you say it's the greatest game ever created? Or would you say Metroid Prime is the greatest game ever created?
Definitely not Metroid Prime.
No, I didn't play Metroid Prime.
Yeah, you know why?
Then
Sucks.
you can't know its glory.
No, so no, I don't think any game deserves that title. Honestly, like that's
The greatest.
Well, that's
game
because
of
you
ever-
haven't played Metroid Prime.
Have you played? Have you played Super Mario Brothers 3 on Nintendo Entertainment Center?
I played
system.
That, yeah.
Entertainment Center? Is this like the new Costco?
Yeah. So am I still answering the question about what I'm playing? I'm
I don't know,
sorry.
man. We kind
I
of threw out
ruined it.
60 questions there.
I ruined it.
Just answer one of them.
All right.
This whole
so,
thing is going downhill quick.
So I will say that I just got a Switch, and I've started
Nice.
playing the Zeldas.
Ooh, we have a lot of Switch questions coming up in the show, so that's why I'm really
And
really
news.
excited about having you on since you just picked up your Switch.
Yeah, fresh.
How did you get your Switch?
I lucked out a bit because they're still pretty hard to find.
Yeah.
I happened to ask someone at Best Buy, and they said, "Oh yeah, man, we're gonna get some in tomorrow." And so I went in.
What is wrong with this
tomorrow.
guy
Dude,
that
yeah,
he talks
was
like
he
this?
just-
Like,
Yeah, this weird voice.
I work at Best Buy.
and I like to. I'm a turtle.
Switch owners, am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Switch sellers, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Not the owners. The owners are cool.
Yeah, so they had some in the next day, and a wild cat has appeared.
Hey, bud.
So anyway, I went in there the next day with my wife, and there was a line, but they had enough for me, and I got the game.
What about your wife?
Enough for
Did they
you?
have
Like,
enough
how
for
many
you
did
and
you
your
need?
wife?
Just one. I
Oh,
just had
okay.
one.
Ooh, so not enough for
So
you
your wife
and
doesn't
your
get a
wife.
Switch?
We're married and we share everything. So
Oh my
That sounds
gosh.
very
Terrible.
bad. That's the way
Honey,
you
can
said
I get
that.
the Switch again? No.
Yeah, that's how sharing works. Brad gets it.
and Brad is not married.
It's true. Sean and I are both not married. BigRig is married. He's much more of a man than we are.
BigRig, there are like 5 PS4s in this room alone.
Just 'cause
Think
we
of what
can't-
you could have.
We can't share. Well, I would like to take a quick tangent since you so rightfully
tangent
brought
from
up
the tangent?
that we didn't really explain very much about BigRig. And I wanted to start with that, but
The
you know what? We got
enigma.
too excited. We just fired right into it. So, BigRig, tell us a little bit about yourself. You already said you worked on Titanfall 2. How did that happen? Guy Whiskers is on your lap right now as we're trying to do
Nice.
the show. Hey, boy, he's so cute, isn't he?
Yeah, so I've been in the game industry for about
100 years?
1,100 years.
Jesus
Wow.
Christ.
Um,
No wonder you're so big.
I've been at Respawn.
You just toss guy.
I didn't toss. He jumped.
You were just like, out of here. Boom.
Yeah.
He committed, and I helped him.
Discarded him.
Yeah, so I've been at Respawn for almost 5 years.
Yeah.
Almost as long as Mr. Brad Snyder.
It's exciting.
It's exciting. I'm about to get my data knife.
Hell
if,
yeah.
You know, if I make it to October.
Yeah.
So
See what happens.
me and Jake Virginia. A little call out to Mr. Jake Virginia.
Yeah.
Should be awesome for 5 years. And
Uh,
before that.
Yeah, where'd you come from before that? What were you doing?
I worked down in Orange County. My first game job was actually at a place called Shiny Entertainment, who was kind of famous for Earthworm Jim back in the day. You guys are, it's
Really?
before your time.
Yeah, no. I know
I know
dude,
it. I know
I
it.
know Earthworm Jim, dude. I used to play that game all the time.
I never played it because it looks like shit.
It
But
actually
Wow.
looks awesome.
Wow.
The game
a
still
worm
holds up
that is
really
a
well.
man, a man worm.
It's a worm in a spacesuit.
You're running
dude.
around with
Listen,
like a giant
emotional
ripped body.
journey underwater, dude.
Oh my god,
Hey,
yeah.
hey, you guys both
Does the game
downloaded
have
it.
feelings?
I
Because
don't
I
wanna
need
hear it.
feelings in my
Yeah.
games.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Oh, Sean.
No, so I started working at Shiny, and then they got purchased by another company and merged with The Collective, which was another game company in Orange County, and they changed the name to Double Helix.
Oh, so that's how you guys got the name Double Helix, because you're like
Yeah.
combining 2 DNA strands.
Yes, and
Gotcha.
games are in our DNA.
Oh my god.
So
I'll just let that one slide, Brad. I'll let that one slide.
So
I'm learning here.
it's clever.
Yeah.
It's anyway, so I worked with a lot of cool people there on a few games.
What kind of games?
like
what
what?
games
What
did you work
games?
on? Tell us.
Tell us. Where are they?
Well, when I first started at Shiny, we were actually working on some PSP games.
Ooh,
back in the
what?
day.
Dude,
PSP
we are big
Uno.
PSP fans.
Yeah.
Ooh, not that one though.
Wait, PSP. Wait, is that the game that you're talking about?
No,
PSP Uno.
PSP One, not
There
PS-
was only one.
not
Oh, okay,
PSP
okay.
Vita.
Sorry, I thought you were talking about an Uno game for PSP. I was like, what the
Not that one.
fuck? I was like, okay,
Ooh, pass.
didn't play that one.
Yeah, yeah. Your eyes went from lit up to completely
Like-
Uno.
Uno. It's like
Yeah, it was an 8-person Uno game
Yeah.
played on the PSP at one time. No, so I was working on a fighting game for that actually. That was pretty interesting. And then when the company got bought, they transitioned us over to other products. And so I worked on a few licensed games like the Golden Compass based on
Oh, I remember
the movie. And worked on the Green Lantern based on the movie, kind of.
On that really big hit Sony movie, right?
with Van Wilder.
Yeah, with Van Wilder.
With Brad
Van Wilder
Snyder as
starring
Van Wilder as
Green Lantern.
No, the game was a lot of fun to work on.
Yeah.
There was a lot of it. It was kind of like it was third person, locked or kind of camera on a rail, similar to like God of War and stuff. But the cool thing was that we got to do a lot of cool effects things. I haven't even explained. I'm an effects artist.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
wondering, have you said that you're an artist? or an
Yeah.
artiste?
So I get to put in explosions and blood and.
So all the things that make video games worth playing, pretty
Yeah.
much,
You
that
could-
come
Yeah,
from you.
if
Put
you
in
turned off video
explosions and
games, like no one plays with sound, but if you turned off video
Yeah,
game,
fuck
or
sound.
If you turn off the effects.
then you
I was
can't
gonna say,
even.
if you turn off the video game, you can't
You
really
can't-
play the
yeah,
video
no,
game.
it's
can
off.
you?
You
It's
can't
off.
hear blood. I'm just saying.
No,
Well, I hate to tell you, Sean,
or
you can't hear
explosions.
blood. It's very, very loud.
What does it sound like?
okay, that's how
Blood.
it makes it sounds.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. So VFX are a bunch of things in the game, and the cool thing is that it's kind of like Brad with sound, where usually we get it towards the end, and so a lot of awesome people have done a lot of awesome work, and then we get to steal their credit at the end and say, "Look at this amazing product at the end," and everyone's like, "Oh, it's amazing," and I'm like. I just made that twinkle in their eye when they did this sword swipe, So
Yeah.
uh,
And then I just won't put a sound on it, and then
Yeah.
everyone hates it.
yeah, exactly.
Right. That's how it works.
Oh my god.
So I interviewed at Respawn before even Titanfall was announced, and that was kind of scary because it was.
Yeah, you're walking into something you have no idea what it is.
But yeah, and I was
It's the
like,
same thing with me.
yeah,
They're like, we want to hire you, and it's like, what do you work? What will we be working on? Can't tell you.
yeah,
But
yeah.
they came from Call of Duty, so it was a little less risky.
Well,
yeah,
kind of.
It was kind of like betting on the people, and so
Yeah.
you have all these guys who worked on Call of Duty, who left a really popular franchise to work again with their leaders. So it was more of a these guys left something really awesome to start up something new,
And there's
so this new thing is probably exciting.
Yeah.
And so I interviewed there, and I was like, oh god, I hope they call me back because I really like them, and they called me back, and the rest is history. And so I've worked on Titanfall 1 and Titanfall 2, and still working on DLC stuff, and
Yep, never ends.
it's great to work on something that the fans are passionate. I know Sean's gonna say all two of them. No, but
No, there are plenty. A lot of
there's-
people love Titanfall 2.
Yeah,
and
dude, I think
Titanfall
we're
1.
up to like almost 90,000 Titanfall subscribers on the Titanfall Reddit. Which
yeah,
is
that's
pretty cool.
crazy. Yeah. And it's tough to, like, if you log on at any one time, you're only gonna see the people that are kind of in that moment. And, But when you see the numbers that for some reason I don't know if they can share them or not. But
Yeah, I don't think we
like
can say the numbers,
Yeah,
but
across the
they're
a
really
month,
good.
There's a pretty insane number of people that are unique players, and
Yeah.
so the community is really fun. Like Reddit is really fun to look at. Like you can go on daily and watch amazing gifs, and I'm nervous because I play with my little game tag. It says Respawn Dev.
Yeah.
And I die a lot.
Yeah.
And so I'm waiting for the time when like someone points out like, look at this dev and he just doesn't know how to play
he
the
doesn't
game.
get
That's the problem with any game, though. Is I mean, like, it doesn't matter how good the developers are. There's always going to be these people who have apparently 24 hours a day to play video games, and they're going to get better at it
Yeah.
so fast.
Well, and when there are millions of people, like you're not going to be number one out of millions of people.
Well, Sean, maybe not you, but I've been number one out of millions of people
In what?
in a bunch of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. One time I was number 2 in Killzone.
Oh yeah, and Killzone 2 before it
Killzone
came
2.
out.
No, Killzone
in the
2.
beta, like
Yeah,
the
no,
beta
Killzone 2,
weekend.
the real version. I mean, that's not number 1, but it's pretty darn close.
You were number 2 in what? In like what? I don't even believe you.
In initial downloads.
Number
downloaded
2
it
worst
second.
player, NA. Yeah. Well, BigRig, I have one question for you out of all of that.
Yes.
I mean, there are plenty of things to dig into there, but I'm just wondering, what does VFX stand for? It's got to be 3 words, right?
Are you serious? Yeah, they're visual.
That's like 2 words
That's
right
one
there.
word.
That's one word. The
What's
the
What's the
FX
f-
is actually one word. FX.
What?
If you just sound it out, it's the word.
Visual effects.
Effa Exa.
Well, you don't add a
Okay.
"sa" at the end of both of those. First of all, I don't know what language you learned in Pennsylvania.
Hey, it's different over there.
Just saying,
okay?
it's a little confusing. It's a little confusing. You know, usually
Well,
your
here's the thing.
acronym-
I'm an SFX guy.
like I wrote WTF in this document. What do you think that stands for?
what
What
FX?
TÜV? What TÜV?
All right. Well, let's jump back into a little bit of what we've been playing because
Sure. So let me wrap up Abzu
yeah.
because you guys both downloaded it. You're probably gonna play it at some point.
I'm not gonna play it.
It's totally worth it. I was. Let me think. Was I under the influence of any substances? No. I was completely
Stone cold.
stone dry.
Steve Austin.
Stone cold
Stone
dry.
dry. Is that a thing?
Bone dry. That's the one. And I was still having this like religious experience that I had with Journey, where
Oh my
you're
God.
kind of just like pulled into the game, and you're
Uh-huh.
riding around on fish. You can hitch a ride on any fish, and once it's hilarious because once you touch them, they go into a fucking rage mode, and they just start eating all the other fish.
What?
They just zoom around, they're like, and there's this ridiculous chomp noise, and they're just devouring things. I don't know why.
That sounds
but it's kind
very
of
religious.
hilarious. Yeah,
Very
It does
religious.
sound- yeah.
That's my religion.
That's an emotional pull that you just described.
But the soundtrack is really cool. The environment art is awesome. Like, it's got such a cool style, and it gives you that feeling. So I surf a lot, and I love the ocean, and I'm always in the ocean, always.
Yeah.
And
Look at you.
So gnarly, brah.
it gives you that very unique feeling of being on the surface and not knowing what's beneath, or being under the surface and not knowing what's above. Like, the way they create that separation between air and water, basically, is just really cool, and it gives you this weird, creepy feeling, and I love that feeling.
The ocean is fucking creepy, dude. Like, the ocean terrifies me.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen pictures of, like, you'll see a picture of someone, like, near the surface of the water, and there's, like, a whale underneath them or
Yeah.
something. That's
crazy.
my
I
worst
would never
nightmare.
wanna be
that
near a
would,
whale.
like, oh my God, that whale will fuck you up in so many ways. You don't even know.
They love doing that.
Yeah.
Fucking people up.
Oh my God.
My big moment with Abzu was how smooth you could do little loop-de-loops.
Yeah.
It was it's like, I wonder if that feels nice. Like this nice little, like, really soft motion, and it feels almost like a little flying game.
Yeah.
But it almost feels like you're on a rail when you do it. And it's very natural feeling.
Yeah. I think they
Like-
simulate like water physics pretty well.
Yeah, I know. Usually, when I do loop-de-loops in water, it's about like that. So it's good that they matched it.
Yeah, they probably just Motracked you.
Yeah,
I mostly
yeah.
just stick to doing loop-de-loops outside of water.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Brad's always looping.
bone dry.
So that's mostly what I've been playing for about an hour in the past 2 weeks.
So, Rig, what about you? Like, you said you've been playing Titanfall 2, and you've been playing Zelda.
Yeah,
So you just jumped onto the Zelda train.
I just jumped on. I was trying to avoid it a bit because I know what's gonna happen. Okay, I'm gonna buy a Nintendo for Zelda,
Uh-huh.
and then I will not have other games that I want to play.
Yep.
That's where we are right now.
Except Mario Kart.
So
Yeah, Mario Kart's great.
Yeah, and I bought Mario Kart, and I haven't even swapped the carts. Like, I haven't even opened Mario Kart because
Are you not going digital?
No.
Oh, come on, man.
What are you, crazy?
2017, bro. Ain't need to swap no
it's-
carts no more.
It's not too late. No, well, and that's the thing too is I was a little behind on what I needed. Like I saw the memory stick and all that stuff, and I'm like, oh, dude, do I need all? Like I didn't do enough research of what I actually needed day one, and I'm like, I'll buy a physical, yeah, because I don't know. Maybe I should return it because I haven't opened it yet.
I mean,
For something like
because-
Mario Kart, yeah.
Yeah, Mario Kart's this kind of game. Like Sean and I, we were gonna get it at Best Buy the day it came out, and then we were like, you know what? No, we're not gonna get Mario Kart. And then it was like Saturday night, and it was like I don't know, 11 p.m. or midnight or something, and we're like,
Best Buy is closed.
Fuck it, let's just get Mario Kart. And we bought it, and then we downloaded it, and I don't regret that for 1 second because it's always there.
Yep.
Like no matter what card is in, like I always have Mario Kart ready to go.
And the
like
Switch
your
has
friend.
like 32 gigs of storage.
Okay, so
Yeah,
just to
so.
start off with, I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
go with that.
Exactly. And then like the cards are really cheap. Like I think I have a 200 or 128 and it was gig card and it was like $30 or something like that.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I was a little. I wasn't writing them off, but I wasn't jumping to get one right away, and then they were kind of hard to get, and it kind of made it a little easier to avoid it. Where I'm like, I can't if I can't walk into the store and see it, then I
Yeah.
don't think
Yeah.
about it.
But then that guy came and he's like, "Oh, we have a Switch."
Yeah, we have tomorrow if you come back. No, so and also around that time, Horizon had come out, and that was a great like time sink. And I'm like, okay, right now if I went from Horizon to Zelda, I would only see the visual problems. Whereas right now I'm kind of in a lull where I'm like, I'm happy to play a new game.
It's been a while.
And I'm not comparing it graphically right now. Also, I think that they did some improvements to the frame rate and stuff.
They did.
Yep.
Since it's
then,
come out,
so-
it's gotten better. And it honestly, I was playing Zelda and Horizon kind of back to back, and the visual thing actually didn't bother me because I played Zelda mostly
They're just
handheld.
so different.
But it's still a beautiful game in a weird way. The textures, terrible. They're terrible textures. But like when you're far enough away from everything, it looks so pretty still.
Yep.
Like the art design is really smart, I think.
Yeah, no, I think they did a smart thing. I mean, it is crazy to think that you're playing a pretty like a beautiful game like that on a handheld.
It's the best looking Zelda game there's ever been. And it's on a handheld.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Yeah. So and I mean I think going back and forth would have been harder for me. Also, just like I'm an old man. I'm not like you young spry boys in
That's
the gym.
true. That's
We're
very
spry boys over here.
always in the
Spry
gym.
boys. I have to kind of dig in with a game and get my controls down and kind of get because even with Zelda, like
No, Zelda is a prime example
there's
of
some
a game
weird
that's hard to
there's-
control.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff that I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't know how I'm supposed to do this type of thing, or I'm always
Yeah.
doing the wrong menu.
Yeah, I
Even
do that-
still, like hours
Yeah.
into it.
I'll be like, oops, I'm shooting an arrow. Fuck, I want to back out. Oh, God.
Oh,
Yeah,
I've wasted so many arrows.
Yeah.
Using kinesis and the abilities and stuff, I always press the wrong button
Yep.
first.
Yeah.
Every
single
time. It's just
Yeah.
ingrained. I don't know. I don't
They
know
use
why.
everything on the gamepad, and it took me like the whole beginning plateau area to even understand the controls.
Yeah.
I must say that this might be again the old man gamer talking, but I'm not a fan of the selfie thing.
You don't need to take
What
selfies,
selfie
dude.
thing?
The
I didn't-
camera in the game.
Do you take a selfie with it?
You can.
I-
Oh,
oh,
here's
I never did that.
here's we're combining the two things with the buttons. Every time I close camera,
It switches to
it
selfie
switches
mode.
to
Yeah,
selfie
it
because
does.
I
It did that to
accidentally
me, too. It's like,
pressed the wrong button. So I'm like, ooh, there's a terrible enemy about to attack me, the giant rock monster. Take a picture for my little camera thing,
Yeah.
and then I press the wrong button, and I'm
Oops,
like, and
selfie
I'm
mode,
doing,
and the
I'm
rock
doing.
monster's like right behind
Yeah,
you.
there's a monster about to kill me, and I'm like doing this little, like peace sign, and I'm like, that's not what I want at all. It's goofy and it's fun for some things, but I wish that I could kind of disable that. Maybe I can. Maybe there is an option.
I
but
never
don't
even
think
saw
so.
that. I didn't even know you could take selfies. I took a picture of one mushroom because I had to, and then I never took
Oh
another
my
picture.
God.
I'm taking pictures. No, I'm taking pictures of everything. I want
Yeah,
to.
it's
I want
fun.
to.
Yeah.
The
I want to make
collectible,
this $500 game worth it.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's
Oh, it's
that's-
so worth it. It's so worth it.
Yeah, but that's why I'm taking pictures. Obviously.
He's taking his time.
One of my friends at work is also doing that, and I think he's been playing for like 2 weeks now, and he still hasn't done any of the beasts, any of the divine beasts. He's still on the Great Plateau, I think, after 2 weeks because he's
Damn.
just taking pictures of everything.
That's crazy.
I don't think you get the camera until after the plateau.
Yeah, you do
think
get the
you're-
camera after.
Well,
You're a liar.
he's like barely at. Whenever you get
you
it.
just got called out.
No. What it is you
Fake
get it in
news.
Hatsuno Village, right? I think he hasn't like left that. That's basically the second area.
Yeah.
He hasn't really left that, so he's
Okay.
just like wandering around that area.
What you're saying is making a little bit more sense now.
Yeah. Less of a liar.
Nailed it.
Is that it for what you've been playing, Big Ray?
Yeah.
Well, let
Yeah, I
me
think
tell
so.
you guys a little bit about what I've been playing.
Do we want to hear about what he's been playing?
Because
Can we? Is there a new segment?
I mean, we got to cut something.
we're gonna
so let's
get
just
to
cut
we're
it.
gonna
yes.
get to the new segment, but I just have to. I'm gonna go quick because a lot of shit has gone down. Like
All right.
as you know, I went to
hear it.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So
You
when
played,
I
like,
went to
5 whole
Pennsylvania,
games.
I bought a bunch of Switch games. I bought Shantae Half Genie Hero. I
Yeah.
beat it.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was
Okay.
really cool. Highly recommend that game if you like side-scrolling
Is it
platformers.
4x3 on the?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Like it's widescreen and it's like awesome art assets. The music's cool. The animations are awesome.
Is
The
it a
character
new
models are
game or
great.
is it
Yeah.
from some other
No,
platform?
it's brand new.
Okay.
Really good. I loved that. I picked up Cave Story and I started playing a little bit of that, but I don't know. I don't know if it's for me.
Is that the one where you choose different characters?
I
And
don't think so.
Really?
At least I couldn't choose a different character.
I always confuse that with other weird games.
So I played that. That was cool. I played a ton of Mario Kart on the trip, that's just a really awesome game. Switch was just super awesome for the trip back home. I picked up there was an E3 sale for Sony that they had a ton of great games on sale, and I picked up on PS Vita Danganronpa. Danganronpa 1 and 2.
with your Danganronpa. You got 2 of them
Yeah, I got
for the
both
price
of
of
them.
one.
Yeah, they were on sale for really cheap. I want to say they were $10 or less, which is crazy because those games are normally $40.
Yeah.
And
Crazy.
so I finished the first one last night. I loved it. I really loved it. I've
Now-
never played a visual novel game
Okay,
like
so
this
it's a visual
before.
novel.
It's a visual novel, but it's very much like
Explain
Phoenix
a
Wright.
visual novel, please.
So so a visual novel game is basically it's kind of like an old school adventure game where
Right.
you have a lot of like static screens and there's a lot of like moving a cursor around and like interacting with objects and like being like, okay, what's that? And investigating it. And then it's a lot of talking to characters and you can choose different paths you want to go down in the conversations. And then so you'll spend a couple days of in-game time going out around and exploring. And in this game, Danganronpa, the premise is it's 16 high school students trapped in a high school. And the only way out is to kill another student in
That's
the school
awesome.
and get away with it and have no one find out it was you. So if that happens, you will graduate and you get to leave the school.
Is that
Otherwise,
the
you have to
only
live there
option?
for the rest of your life.
I just have to say I'm sick of these video game tropes because obviously I've played that game 40 times where I'm in a Catholic schoolgirl and I have to
You're in a
You're in a Catholic school. Wow, what kind of games are you
That's a
playing,
different
Big
kind of
Ray?
game.
Catholic girls school.
Okay,
Two
yeah,
words if
okay.
you swap them
Sure,
make
yeah,
it a
that's
very
dangerous.
different story.
Very
Big,
dangerous.
big difference.
Yeah. I mean, we've all played that game a million times.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
yeah. So, so basically, what happens is someone will get murdered, and then you have to investigate. So you're going around trying to find clues, and then a trial will happen where all of the students who are left alive are all talking and arguing and trying to figure out what happened and try to figure out who actually did the murder. And so, if you fail and you choose the wrong person, everyone dies. But if you pick the right person, that person then gets executed. So it's just like this brutal, brutal game where it's like the person who tried to kill someone and didn't get away with it, they're getting.
Are
fucking
you trying to
killed
get
in a
out as
really
well,
Crazy way.
or are you not part of this scenario?
You're a part of it, but I mean, like you don't want to try to kill anyone. You want everyone to work together. You're trying to like that's the whole thing. The game, it's kind of like this hope versus despair theme where they're like you're either a team like working together and trying to hold on to hope, or like despair is winning and like people want to get out so they murder for it.
Yeah.
And you're trying to keep everyone kind of.
You're trying to band against the rules.
Yeah, you're trying to ban against the mastermind, the guy who put you here, because like that's the true evil. But the mastermind keeps coming up with these really smart plans where they'll put some sort of motive out for someone to basically want to kill.
Yeah.
And like quick spoiler for the first motive is they show you a video. Every person gets their own video, and what those people see in that video eventually basically becomes their motive for wanting to get out, because a lot of people, for a lot of the videos, it's like they show their family and their family's being hurt or being tortured or something, and it's like, well, shit, I need to get out and save my family.
So this is like a Saw situation almost.
Yeah, it's very similar to that, but it's not as gruesome, I would say.
Is it scary?
No, it's not scary, but it's definitely suspenseful and tense, and it's
dark.
It's dark. Yeah, it's very dark. And I finished it. I wasn't expecting to kind of run through the game the way I did. Like I kept wanting to play it because I was really into the story and the characters and like seeing what was going to happen next. And so now that I'm done, I'm really excited to jump into 2, and then Danganronpa 3. That's coming out in a couple months apparently in September. So
Okay.
I'm amped. I'm in on these Danganronpas. Like it's
You're getting
huge.
ramped up.
I'm ramped up. I'm Rangan-ramped up. But
Is there a
apparently
bear?
it's huge. Yeah, the Monokuma bear is it's a robot bear that basically is overseeing all of this stuff that's going on. The mastermind is controlling this robot bear.
Okay.
From
It's a
behind the
robot.
scenes.
Makes
And
sense.
this bear is huge in Japan. Apparently, the Monokuma bear is like super popular.
Is
in
it
Japan.
based on anything
Danganronpa's
else,
come up.
or
No,
is it?
it's
Okay.
its own thing, and it's just blown up.
Because there's
apparently.
Teddy in Persona 3
Yeah.
Golden as well.
Persona 4.
Persona 4 Gold. God, there are so many Personas now.
Yeah, so I've been playing that. I really like that. I just also want to say I picked up the Crash remaster. It's amazing.
Oh, that's
Like,
out?
It's out as of this past Friday. It is so good. Like,
Well,
if
you were
like-
obsessed with those games.
I loved Crash Bandicoot, and they did such an amazing job bringing those games back. Like, I was playing it the other night when it first came out, and it brought up like those like the emotions and feelings. Like I time traveled back into like 8-year-old Brad when the
Yeah.
first Crash Bandicoot was out, and like I just remember playing the level, and just like as a kid, it would take me like a week or 2 weeks to beat just like one level in that
Yeah.
game because they were so hard, and you would just keep trying over and over again. And now I'm just like kind of storming through and like remembering all the things. The game's still really hard.
Yeah.
It's insanely
That's cool.
hard. But they did a great job. Visually, it's amazing. The sound is great. They remastered all and remixed all of the songs, so the songs sound really cool. I love it. I think it's $40. It's so worth it. You're getting 3 amazing platforming games for $40.
Yeah, I might actually jump into that. That sounds really cool.
It's really cool. You
Because
should
I never
check
played
it out
through
later.
the whole thing.
Oh man, and then Crash. So the
There's
Crash
no
Bandicoot
multiplayer,
one,
right?
No, there's no multiplayer. But the first Crash Bandicoot is definitely the worst one because 2 and 3 they start adding new moves that like
Yeah.
make the game way more fun to play.
Didn't 3 have like different types of stages too?
Yeah, I mean 2 had that as well, but like you could like fly a airplane
dragon.
and like ride on like tigers.
Didn't
and
you
stuff.
fight a dragon?
I don't think so, but there's definitely like very like Chinese inspired levels.
Okay.
So-
So out of those 3, which is your favorite of the past couple weeks?
That's hard. Because I really, really love Crash Bandicoot Remaster, but I haven't finished it yet. So I guess right now I'll just give it to Danganronpa because that was really fun. And if you have a Vita and you haven't checked it out, it's a really, really cool story. It's actually on PS4 now too. PS4 has Danganronpa 1 and 2 in a collection pack. I think you
Cool.
can get both of them.
I mean, that sounds like the perfect game for Vita.
Yeah, it's a great Vita game because you're just kind of like you're kind of playing through at your own leisure, and it's like there's not a ton of production value going into what you're seeing. It's not like the characters don't like move their mouths and animate as they're talking to you. You know, it was a PSP game.
Yeah.
So it's like really, really
Static
old.
heads.
But
old
the
school
voice
RPG.
acting is great and the writing is really good and it's a really awesome story. The music's really cool too. It's really weird music, but I'm very impressed by it. It
Cool.
like
Cool.
sets the mood very well. So
Look
that's a
at
little
you.
bit. That's a
Look
bit.
at you.
A little bit of what I've been playing. And I think now it's time to get into announcements.
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 Announcements?
It's announcements.
Announcements from Game Stuff.
There we go.
All right,
Sean.
so first up,
Read us through these.
this was kind of shocking, actually, but the Super Nintendo Entertainment System Classic Edition has been announced.
Now, this is both shocking and not shocking because there
it
were
makes
rumors
sense.
for a long time about
Yeah,
this.
yeah. But then why the fuck did they stop production on the NES Classic when
Because of
everyone
this.
still wants it?
Because of this.
So what?
They need to make these guys now.
In the same factory, they can't afford to like pay some other Chinese factory to make the NES Classic while they make these.
Here,
It makes no sense at all.
Do you want to hear my conspiracy theory on
Yeah.
that?
Yes,
let's hear it.
please.
All right. So anyone who's into these games, who also has a computer, who's been following any of this stuff, knows that there's like this whole ROM community, right, where you can illegally download and maybe it's legal if you had the original ROM.
Yeah,
I don't
if you
know.
have if you
It's
have
a
the
gray
game, it's
area,
legal.
and I'm not into
Yeah.
that, but there's already a place for this for you to play these games. So I feel that these they do a small batch of these, and it's pure marketing. It's pure marketing for other
Totally.
products. It's to like for a small investment, they can have a game on here, a re-release of an old game. It puts it back into your mind where now if they want to bring back a sequel to these, people are going to be like, oh yeah, I just played that, or I heard about that. Because otherwise no one's talking about, like if you go back to the list of games, like no one's talking about a lot of these games right now.
Yeah.
Like
Punch Out.
yeah, like Donkey
Super
Kong,
Metroid.
people know,
Damn, these are
people
good
played
games.
versions of.
This is an amazing list of games.
This is just
though.
the best
Can we
games.
just read through these real quick because it's incredible? Do you want to read through them, Sean?
Yeah, so there's Super Mario World, Super Mario Kart, A Link to the Past, F-Zero, Super Metroid, one of the greatest games of all time, Super Street Fighter 2, Punch Out, Castlevania 4?
3.
3?
Or,
No,
it
that's
is
4.
It is 4.
Donkey Kong Country, which I
Oh my
love that game
God, I
so
love that
much.
game.
Mega Man X, amazing.
Awesome game.
Kirby Superstar, Final Fantasy 3, Kirby's Dream Course, Star Fox, Yoshi's Island, Super Mario RPG, Legend
Yeah,
of
which
the
is
Seven
crazy
Stars.
because that game is so,
That's so
hard to get.
Yeah, so, and I never played that. Contra 3, Secret of Mana, Earthbound. What's the last? Super Ghouls and Ghosts?
Yeah, Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
God, that game is so hard.
The list is amazing. Like each one of these games is a knockout.
And then the really interesting thing is they're releasing a game that was never released, Star Fox 2.
Which apparently isn't that good.
Well,
But-
they didn't release it, so it must not be that great.
Yeah.
But yeah, BigRig, that makes total sense. And there's the whole concept of any press is good press. But it really sucks that a lot of people's interaction with this was through eBay or through some other
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
second party source, and they had a bad perception of Nintendo
I saw
because it was like
I saw a lot of people
they
saying
couldn't get one.
I don't want to buy something from Nintendo anymore because this was so frustrating for them. Like and
Yeah.
like I actually
I
was
saw
reading
retailers saying that
yeah,
they didn't
retailers
wanna
say they
sell
don't
them.
even want to carry it anymore
Mm-hmm.
because it was such a nightmare for them.
Well, I think to be fair, they were saying, like I think some of them felt like they got lied to on
Well, they
how
did
many
because-
they were going
because
to
they
get.
would
So they
pre-order
were
like 30
pre-ordering.
of them, and then like
They didn't
Nintendo would
get-
give them
yeah.
2,
Yeah.
and then so they lost 28 customers permanently from
Yeah.
their store
They were
because of that.
pissed.
And hardware launches used to be a lot more like that. Like I remember, GameStop and stuff. They wouldn't really know how many they were going to get. Like there was some kind of question of whether they would get enough. So it's kind of a bad sign that some of these are going this way. But I still think it's like, I think it's a really smart move. It's not like an incredibly crazy initial investment thing. So
No.
that's what makes me feel that it's almost like,
Well, look at this.
like
Look
like
at these
if
controllers.
only 50,000 people get to buy this, or some really small number. I don't know what the number is going to be.
Yeah.
But you're
It's gonna be a couple hundred
have
thousand.
you're gonna have people talking about these games again, and if they wanted to re-release these games on the Switch, more people would talk about them because they had just played them recently.
You know what
it's
this is?
It's a smart thing.
This is directly analogous to one thing that I can think of: the Disney Vault. It's exactly the
Yeah.
same fucking thing.
Yeah.
This
Yep.
is the Disney
You
Vault.
must buy
and
Little
it's telling you,
Mermaid.
You need to get it now, or it's going to be gone for a while. And
Mm-hmm.
then guess what? 5 years from now, the NES Classic is going to be back.
Yeah.
And maybe it'll have more games, or maybe it'll be exactly the same. But people are going to want to buy it. Again.
Yeah.
I don't think the
So-
Disney Vault has the same supply constraints, though. I think they actually sell to everyone who wants to
Yeah,
buy.
that's true. And then they just say it's going to be gone.
Well,
so,
they actually just wanted to not have to carry them. I think.
Yeah.
But I think it was a smart thing to say. This is going to go away in the vault, and
Yep.
Yeah.
it's going to. And I remember that as a kid, like we didn't buy a lot of movies, but that would kind of make me sad. I was like, you'd see at the beginning of a movie, like if you want to buy Robin Hood, you better get him before the
Yeah, I know,
evil
before
vault
it goes
catches
back
him.
into
And
the
it's like,
vault.
why is the vault a bad guy?
We're gonna
I don't
kill him.
know.
The vault is a torture
Yeah.
chamber,
Robin Hood might not ever come back.
and it's your fault.
So we actually have a question related to this.
Yeah.
Because this comes through Reddit, actually, one of our Reddit threads we posted this week from Ben's Pajamas.
His pajamas are writing in.
Ben's Pajamas are writing in.
Ben has no idea.
Do you think the release of the Mini NES and future release of the Mini SNES Classic will be market competition for future Virtual Console releases on the Switch? And with the Mini SNES likely being a limited release, is it worth buying for a Switch owner? Or would you hedge your bets on these titles eventually making it to the Switch as well? This is a great question.
Yeah, and that's something I'm sure Nintendo has done the research on and considered heavily, and maybe
I think
that's
this
part
could
of
be
why
a-
they're constraining it so much.
I think this could be a reason why Virtual Console still isn't out.
Why?
because they're still selling NES and mini SNES right now.
Yeah. So I think on one hand, yes, of course, these will compete, and someone who maybe can't afford to buy as many games as they'd like, or can't afford a Switch or whatever, can get all of these SNES games on the cheap if they can happen to find one in stores. But on the other hand, like, there have been so many opportunities to buy these games already, and people are still ravenous to have them. I think it's more of a convenience thing. Like, for me, I will totally buy Super Metroid on Switch, even though I have it on Super Nintendo, and I have a Super Nintendo.
I think for people too, if they buy a mini Super Nintendo and they get those games and they own a Switch, they might still want to get it on Switch. Now, what would be a really baller move from Nintendo is if you bought a mini SNES, you could get those games on your Switch already, because they've been trying to tie in accounts. Like, they've done this new thing with the Switch where they're tying in all the Nintendo accounts. So they're trying to wrap up all these loose ends, because I think they want to move away from making you buy the same games over and over again, because they're realizing people aren't into it. People are feeling ripped off because they are. Because other systems will be like, hey, you bought this game already? That's fine. You get it again for free.
Yeah.
It would be great. I know people have talked about that maybe there being a mini Super Nintendo Classic Virtual Console purchase on the Switch, where you're like, okay, you're buying it and you're not getting the hardware, but you're getting all those games,
the chunk of games
for $50 or something.
Yeah.
What do you think, BigRig?
I imagine that, like you're saying, you guys just kind of said two different things. Like Sean said that,
Are you trying to tear us apart?
No, yeah.
Fuck you,
Who
Brad.
will fight to the death? No, I mean, I would agree with Sean more than Brad.
Oh my god, this is
High five.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Who invited you onto this show?
So, like, you guys are ravenous about this product that has all these crazy limitations, and like, it's not portable. Like
It's mini. You can take it with you anywhere.
There was people playing. People who really wanted these games. It goes back to my other point. Who were playing like the ROM'd out, like PSP version.
I used to do that. I had my PSP hacked at one point.
Yeah, and so a lot of people did that. I'm saying that, like, the people who
Don't tell Sony.
Dirty.
the people who are into these things are gonna keep rebuying them. Like, that's kind of the thing. Like, if they release this, I don't know, like, how, like what the output is, but if they re-release it now in 4K, now in 8K, like, people keep buying these things. So it's not. I'm with Sean that people are going to keep buying these. Like, if they do this on, like, to me, the SNES thing isn't really competing with the Switch, because the Switch is portable now. So you're
That's
not
huge.
you kind of are willing to pay again on a game because it is a portable version. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like if I played Journey on PlayStation 3 when it was for sale on PlayStation 4. I was like, I don't know if I want to repurchase that.
You don't have to. It's actually
It was free.
It's free if you already bought
On
it on
PS
PS3.
Plus.
Well, here's the thing. I changed accounts.
Oh
So-
my god.
Ooh, he had to get that BigRig account.
Yeah, you had to change
Yeah.
the PSN name, get that
Yeah.
Toothpaste 64 out of there.
64. He's
64.
dead.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think that people find money in their wallets for these kind of things because there's nostalgia. Like, there's it's the same thing with like Nintendo, does have a lot of nostalgia with it. Like, I just bought a system basically just for Zelda.
Yeah.
Because I'm excited to try other games, but I was out of the Wii U family. I was in the Wii family.
I think
for
we
a
were
while.
all out of the Wii U family.
Yeah.
But
You're in
I
the Wii
was,
family.
I was excited because there is something different there.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Would you hedge your bets on these titles eventually making it to the Switch as well?
I would say that if they're smart, they're going to sell it on every platform possible.
Yeah.
If
Like-
Nintendo doesn't do this and doesn't bring GameCube to the VC and everything, they're fucking up.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, totally.
Oh my god.
So yeah.
I totally agree. Totally agree with you there, Sean. All right, so well, what's the next announcement? Because we kind of jumped on that one for a while there.
Yeah, next up, Shadow of the Colossus creator hints at his next project.
Okay.
And this is obviously super far out. Trico came out last year? End of last year?
Yeah, it was a while ago.
I think it was like November of last year or something like that.
Yeah, it was December. Because I played it. I was on break and I played through the whole thing, and I'm kind of wish I never did.
But you're
lot of people
calling
like
it Trico. It's not called Trico.
No,
it is.
no.
It's the guy,
Last Guardian.
the
Last
guy,
Guardian.
the main guy in there, the little guy with the feathers,
The
and
horse
the
guy?
horns.
The horse bird?
No, it's the main
Yeah.
guy.
Main dragon?
The dragon,
the little
main
creature
dragon.
guy.
Oh, the dragon, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
Fumito Ueda
Fumito Ueda.
is hoping that this game's development cycle will be much quicker, and I think
Oh my god!
every
Are you
gamer
serious?
in the world is also
he just
hoping.
like, yeah, I hope it's gonna go quicker. Like he's not.
Yeah,
gonna
but I'm
say
open
it's
to it
gonna
going-
Go quicker.
I'm open to 7
Yeah, I
years
mean, it
again.
literally took me 15 years to make my last game, but this one should be a little bit quicker.
Yeah, so it's cool to hear that they are working on
What
something.
did he say about this? Because I didn't see this at all. I did not hear about this.
It was just a little soundbite basically confirming that they are working on something new, which is kind of significant because this studio ran into so much trouble when they were
Right.
trying to make this game.
Well, this isn't Sony Japan anymore, though, is it?
I don't think so. Like
Does
I don't
it
even
say
know
where he's working.
I don't even know what the makeup of this
Is it his
team
own?
is anymore.
Is it his own independent studio?
I mean, it's called the Eco Studio or something like that, isn't
Huh.
it? Or,
No, because that's owned by
Eco
Sony.
Studio. I don't know.
Yeah. So, what's interesting about this is, like I see down here, apparently he talked about the Shadow of the Colossus remake.
Mm-hmm.
Says he submitted a list of changes to Sony, so that's it. He's just like, this is what you need to change.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, another developer is making that, Blue Point. So
Yeah.
it was probably like he's probably very disconnected from development there because they want to keep it cheap and not take 15 years.
Okay.
But
Well, okay. Big news, guys, making another game. Might not be out for a while.
yep. So we'll mark this as the first time he talks about it, and we'll see how many years tick up before this thing comes out.
If you're still doing a podcast and
Yeah, we're
14
still doing a
years.
podcast.
Yeah,
in 15
hey.
years.
Keep us honest.
You should
We'll
make
bring
this,
you back on for that show when the game
make
comes out.
make this like a holiday. Like what is it? July
July 2nd.
2nd. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I said.
Zip a zip.
Make this a holiday. This is the
National announcement of next game from Trico guy.
Day.
and every year you just add a year to it.
Do you think we get cake for this?
We
Like,
could have.
Is this
that.
an
we
ice cream
could.
cake kind of day or a triple chocolate? Or a
Yeah, I actually bought
cookie?
3 cakes: triple chocolate and an ice cream cake and
And a cookie?
Cookie cake.
Good.
Yeah,
Perfect.
Ooh.
just
How'd
for
you
today.
know?
We're gonna have it right after the show.
Thanks.
All right,
We'll just- yeah.
Okay,
Worth
next
it.
announcement, Sean. What's going on here?
NES style Switch Joy-Cons look sick, but will set you back $200. I totally agree they look sick. They're very cool, but guess what? This is a fucking paint job on the same parts that go into a Joy-Con.
These
Why
look cool.
is it $200?
I saw these this week too. You know why they're $200? It's not done by Nintendo. It's
Oh, I
done
didn't
by
know
another
that. I didn't
company.
know that.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're not Nintendo.
So
It's
they're
like-
actually taking them apart and
Yeah,
Okay.
they're doing this themselves, which is probably
I
don't
just
know, a lot
want
of
to
work.
point out
Yeah.
that your hand wraps around that thing and you can't tell what it looks like. Then. So
that's true. They are so small.
yeah, well, you'll find once you finish Zelda that your Switch is actually just sitting in the dock.
And you're just looking at it all the time.
24/7. So
Or unless you
see
leave
'em.
your dock at your mom's house, like I did on the East Coast in Pennsylvania, 3,000 miles
where
away.
is your Switch? Did you
It's just
land
in a
somewhere?
drawer now.
Yeah.
It's just like sitting in a drawer waiting for some
Rotting.
game to bring it back to life. I don't know when that's going to happen. Hopefully Splatoon 2. Oof, I'm hoping for that one.
life. Wake me up inside. Save me. All right, so BioWare says something is happening with Dragon
What the
Age.
fuck does that mean?
That means
What are
that
all these
they are
announcements
working
you put
on
up? You
Dragon
put all
Age.
these announcements that are like, someone said something might be happening.
Not a lot. Hey, guess what? Guess what?
They're like the most
Not a lot
bullshit
We had
announcements I've ever
E3.
heard.
We had E3 with tons of announcements.
Yeah.
The weeks after E3 generally don't have great announcements
It's-
because everything goes into E3
I
and
guess
everyone's
not.
probably taking vacation right now.
hey, thanks for bringing me on for a horrible episode, guys.
Yeah, I know. Okay, dude, okay, can I
Hey,
read this?
it's your job to make
Can
it
I
better.
read this one now that I'm looking through this article?
No.
Fine, you read it.
Shit, no, you read it.
Okay. BigRig, you read this.
Yeah, read
Well,
it.
it's yet to be. What am I reading?
Right here.
Series creative director Mike something
Laidlaw.
said on 1099 podcast.
He said this on a podcast. We're on a
We're a
podcast
podcast. We
announcing
can say things.
podcast news.
Yeah,
Are
that's
you
great.
fucking kidding me right
meta.
now?
We got to go
my
deeper.
Gosh, this is insane.
I hope someone else picks this up.
I'm gonna tweet
and puts it
about
on
this.
their podcast.
Yes.
I'm gonna tweet about this, and then you guys can tweet the news.
Yeah, and then we'll read that tweet
Okay.
on the next podcast.
Here's what Michael Laidlaw said this week. Something is happening with Dragon Age. End quote.
Yep. He confirmed that
That's-
BioWare's Dragon Age team is currently hiring a lot of people. This would suggest that development on the game, assuming it is a game, is ramping
God,
up.
I hate this
What else
article
would this
so
game
much.
studio be making?
So, all right, to defend these.
Wait,
guys,
wait. Hold up. No, we got to go on one more quote here.
Oh.
As I've jokingly said, I'm the creative director for the Dragon Age franchise, and they haven't fired me yet. What the fuck is going on?
All right. Hey. Let's step back a second.
No, I'm
When
getting
you-
fired up. This
when
guy's
you
over here
have-
like
He's
joking
hinting.
about being the creative director.
No, he's not joking.
No.
He's hinting heavily that there's another game without
he's
saying it.
He's saying we are still working on this franchise, but not. It's the same thing that happens with like we had to kind of announce Star Wars, and we couldn't say anything about it.
Yeah.
Because it's like
No, but we're not saying like, oh, jokingly, maybe we're making Star Wars. They haven't fired us yet.
No, but I wonder
All
what
right,
the
so
question
this is out of context. Like,
Yeah.
like you could take anything we say out of context. Like he said jokingly. Like, yeah, of course. But I'm saying like, look, this is him saying, people in BioWare or people in Austin, people in other places. If you want to work on a Dragon Age game,
Get your
we're,
ass over
we're
here
making
right
a
now.
DragonAge. This is smart. That's what that is. That's not. You can't bag on a guy for
Yeah.
for sharing. He's trying to
No,
share.
no,
his
Well, like you
content.
said, it's about
No.
context.
In no way am I bagging on Mike Laidlaw. Love that guy.
No, you're ragging on him.
I'm ragging on this article. This is a bullshit article. This
The
is
article
stupid.
needs
this
the
is an
question that was
article-
asked.
Yeah.
This is an article that's it's picking the scraps up from E3,
Yeah,
like
it
you
is.
said.
It is.
Trying to
It
piece
is.
them
It's
together.
saying, look, this guy who it's like
How do we get GameSpot to write an article about what we say on our podcast? Because look at this. They're even putting, you can listen
We
to
just
the
got to
entire
get
1099
Mike
podcast
Laidlaw,
right here.
Mike Laidlaw down.
You
Hey,
need-
Mike Laidlaw,
you need to
if
drop-
you're listening
Hey,
right
hit us
now,
up.
can you write into gamestuffpodcast@gmail.com? Come on our show and let's joke about things too.
I'm assuming the question was, are you working on Dragon Age 4? And
Okay.
he was poking fun at it and saying, well,
As I
I'm the
said.
creative
I'm the
director
creative
for
director,
Dragon Age,
yeah.
and I haven't been fired. So take that.
Oh, okay.
As
Okay,
you
I
will.
get it. See, Sean, you got to be talking for this guy. That
you-
makes sense.
Yeah, we just said
Talk
this.
for this guy. The guy's fine.
How did you not get this?
Yeah.
This is they
How
have-
does it only make sense now? All right, moving on. The Limbo and Inside dev reveals a new game called Somerville.
Now, I
in
would
a
like
short
to
teaser
I would like to
trailer.
clarify that's not quite true. Like that little blurb. It's actually
You
one of the
lied.
CEOs from the Limbo and Inside dev.
Yeah,
he
so
left
it's
a while
a
back.
developer. It's not. It's
And
not
he
the
joined
studio.
up with this other guy who's been working on this game for like a year already.
Mm-hmm.
Because I looked at the so the game's Somerville,
Mm-hmm.
and they showed a trailer this week. And there's also a dev blog from this guy who's been working on it for like over a year, and it's all animations and stuff. Did you look at those at all? Because an email
I
went
saw
out
the
at work
trailer.
about this.
I saw the trailer, and I
The
haven't
dev
seen
blog's
those, so-
really awesome. Like the animations and stuff look really cool. It's like it kind of reminded me a lot of back when we were all making an indie game. But I mean, it's a little bit higher
Rig
A
had
quality.
little
some-
indie
Big
game
Rig had
called
some
Titanfall.
animations.
Yeah, Titanfall.
Anyway, this is just a teaser, and it's basically an animated environment that there's no character or anything. It's just kind of this futuristic cityscape in the background, and then in the foreground you have.
Well, and I think
these-
it's alien ships. It's alien ships back
Well,
here.
there are
and
lasers
with-
going
on a
around.
farm-
You can,
in a farm
you can
country.
assume they're alien ships and stuff. But yeah, then you have these like two farmhouses and a forest separating them, and it just looks like such a cool scene.
Yeah.
and such a cool
Beautiful
world.
colors.
Yeah, you
and the
should-
colors are amazing.
You should look at the dev blog because if you like this, I think the dev blog's cooler.
Yeah, I'll
than
have
even
to
this
check that
trailer.
out.
It looks like it could be really cool. It's like a side-scrolling. It looks like it's kind of gonna be like a Limbo or an Inside, where it's a side-scrolling platformer.
Yeah. So what they're calling it a sci-fi action adventure that chronicles the lives of key individuals in the wake of a global catastrophe.
Cool. I'm
I
in.
love global.
So you know
catastrophes.
that sense you get when you watch a good trailer, like this trailer, it has enough mystery and enough showing like of beautiful action moment. Like
Yeah.
it's like okay, yeah, I love that, and then you watch the movie or something and you don't get that. When I played Inside, I felt like I was in a trailer the whole time because
Yeah.
it was so well crafted, and then their kind of surprise ending that we won't spoil, but like I was
The
just
bullshit ending, by the way.
What the?
Spoiled.
Spoiled.
That's not
Been spoiled.
There's a bull that walks in.
He just takes a shit.
He defecates.
And it's over.
And
It's art.
No, there was I would just wanted to say shout out to those guys because it was really cool. I really like that game.
Oh no, the game's amazing. The game is so cool.
Now, we'll see.
And you're right. The whole time you're playing it, every scene of that game, I was in awe. I was like,
yeah.
Whoa, what is this? And I think that's why the final scene for me was a letdown. I did not. I did not.
We'll have
enjoy
to. We'll have to offline that because I'm not sure.
I don't want to talk spoilers. But,
Yeah.
But
I'm not sure
say,
which final scene. Are you talking about the final action scene? Like what happens?
No, that was awesome.
Okay. Because that's what I'm talking about.
The final, like the way
the final
the game
moment of the
actually
game
ends was not satisfying to me personally. I know a lot of people like that kind of stuff, but for me, it just wasn't super
I'd have
fun.
I'd have to look it up because
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Either way, Somerville, like you said, is developed by some other guy, and so we'll have to see how much of that carries over. But the art alone holds great promise. So,
right.
Brad, you can tell me which of these you don't care about. We don't have to read through all of these. But
well, we're gonna pick things up a little bit. We're gonna move a little bit faster.
Yeah,
now.
we've
But,
talked about.
We're about to jump into a segment we do every week.
It's a weekly segment.
Every week.
Weekly roundup.
Ooh, a horse.
Yeah, there's a horse.
I like
We haven't had a
We've
horse
never had a
before.
horse
Hell
before in
yeah.
the weekly roundup.
You're leveling it up.
All right, so every week we kind of get together and we pick out the news stories
Brad,
that we
I
thought
think
were the most interesting.
I
from
think
the
they
week
get
before.
what a weekly roundup is.
No, I'm just. Oh my God, Sean.
Wait, what?
That's just saying because we're not talking about.
How is
the
it different
future.
than the
It's-
past news that we just did? I don't get
Those
it.
are announcements.
Okay.
Those were announcements from this past week. This is just news stories.
We've had this discussion before,
my
and I'm
gosh,
kind of
man.
on your side, but yeah. Well,
No, because like these are announcements are supposed to be honestly game announcements, but Sean pulled a bunch of fucking weird articles about things that weren't even really announced.
how are they not game announcements?
Oh my gosh!
New,
Something's
new
happening
project,
with Dragon Age, which we knew
new
Dragon
console, cool Joy-Cons, more new stuff.
Age. Oh my gosh!
I think it's perfect.
a stretch. I will
what I'm
say
saying.
stretch.
Hey,
Hey guys,
you gotta
write
stretch.
in. Guys, write in. Let us know what you think about those announcements from this week.
Hey, guys.
GameStopPodcast@gmail.com.
Right in. Tell me if you can find better announcements the 2 weeks after E3 that weren't just announced at E3. All right,
Okay.
so weekly roundup. Mass Effect Andromeda is not getting single player DLC.
This one-
and this is due directly to critical reception and fan reception.
Yeah, this one was crazy because there was a rumor that went around. Actually, there was a rumor from a company. A Facebook post said like they were working on Mass Effect DLC, or they were hired to start working on Mass Effect DLC, but it got canceled.
Yeah.
And it turns out that was false. That was that company did not exist. Apparently,
They don't
were
exist?
not, or like they were not hired to make Mass Effect DLC.
Yeah.
That was all just fake.
Yeah.
But it did come out through them trying to figure out what was going on with that rumor that there is
They're
going to
not
be
making
no single player DLC.
Which is a very telling
This is the first
piece
time
of
this has
information.
happened.
Yeah.
Apparently, Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3 all had single player DLC,
Yep.
and now they're not doing it. So they
It makes sense. I
They
mean,
really just set this game out. They set this franchise out to die.
Well, if
Why'd
they-
they do this?
yeah. It was a long
Well-
development cycle, and things obviously went wrong. So it's not like they planned to kill Mass Effect, but the outcome is that
They killed it.
they didn't create a new trilogy.
They could at least try to turn it around right now. They could go, no, let's keep working on it. Make an awesome single player DLC that will, let's get some goodwill back. Like a
the
send-off.
problem is that won't bring new players or lapsed Mass Effect players back into this game. They need a new
saves
game for that.
face a little bit though.
Sure, but it also costs $50 million or whatever.
I guess.
So it's probably just not worth it.
It just sucks for the people that bought Mass Effect and who are huge Mass Effect fans. I remember you were so excited for Mass Effect.
Oh,
You
yeah.
kept going on and on about how
I
amped
was
you were
going
for
on.
Mass Effect.
I'm still
And I was
going
like,
on.
I don't know, man. I don't know. And then it came out, and you were the one who was like, nope.
Yeah.
Not going to play
Nope.
it.
Ryan, did you play?
I played
Andromeda?
a bit of it, and I have mixed feelings. I feel like that Mass Effect still has a lot of clout with a lot of people.
Yeah,
And
I think so.
I feel like whether or not I know a lot of people did enjoy the game. A lot of people didn't. You could say about a lot of games, and they definitely.
You could.
Some people like things, some people don't
Some
like
people
things.
like cheese. Some people can't eat cheese.
That's not even the same thing. That's like saying
know,
some
that was
people
the
can
joke.
play video games. Some people can't play video games. They don't have any arms, you know?
Brad, you got the joke. Thanks for explaining.
Thank
it.
you.
Oh my god.
Okay. So I would say that it's fortunate, I guess, that because it was kind of I'll say mixed reviews, that it was not a Mass Effect 4. Or
Right.
because it can be kind of its own offshoot, and then if they want to bring back a Mass Effect 4, it kind of feels like that was kind of a
Bring
more
Shepard
of an
back?
experiment, you know. And so it's tough to pivot on a big franchise like that, that has been around for decades, or for a good chunk of time. So they had some bad luck, I think, in obviously every game can fall into these traps. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of people worked hard on it. So I don't like being disparaging, but they probably will
No, I agree. And I
put it away for a little bit, and like resurrect it at some point. I hope.
I'm
because
completely
I hope they do.
sympathetic, empathetic, all of the thetics
Yeah.
with the developers.
Are you
Of this
telepathic?
game, telepathic. That's not an empathetic.
Got him.
Damn it. With the developers of this game, because they put a lot of care and a lot of love into trying to make this thing happen. And I think if EA just would have given them another year, it could have been probably fine.
Yeah.
But
Well, and a lot of times your reception is directly tied to your expectations, and so
Yeah.
if this was a game called Mass Effect Andromeda and it happened before Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3,
it would be
it would probably
amazing.
it would get 8s and 9s, and it'd be amazing.
But that's the thing.
And-
They've already made 3 games. How could you make this one worse than the other 3?
Well, I'd say that I think that they changed engines. So
they did.
Wasn't
They
the
did.
same team.
No, and the engine change is a big deal. Going to Frostbite is a killer for a lot.
I mean,
of
sure, but
studios.
that was
it's
not the
but
problem
it's not
with their
it's
game.
not just
It was a big problem with their game. Actually, I read the.
No, but I'm saying there are other underlying problems that led to this being a lukewarm reception that had nothing to do with the
Right.
engine
I
or
mean,
tech.
there's-
Well, the
a-
engine is a part of what
It's-
forced them to be in such a short time frame for the actual development of the game, because it took them a couple years
But
to
it-
be able
but
to
it-
get the tech right.
It's much more, I think, a death of 1,000 cuts that you
Yeah,
can't
totally.
like. You could say this person leaving, and yeah, that probably really messed them up. This engine change, like there's just a lot of things, and there's been other blogs post about it, and obviously
Kotaku wrote a really good article about it.
Yeah, yeah, there's
go,
some
go look
interesting
up the
stuff.
Kotaku article. That'll kind of give you a little bit of insight.
But I'd say on the whole engine thing, I've seen this before with like I really loved the Dishonored game, the first game, and it was an Unreal game, and the next game was not an Unreal game, and I did not like I just felt
Oh, really?
like I
You didn't
was
like
fighting.
Dishonored 2?
I didn't like it as much. I played through it, I finished it, and I love the style. I love a lot of the things in the game, but I had
don't like the style.
What did they
of those
use?
Games.
If not Unreal.
I think it's a Bethesda game, so I think they have their
Oh.
own tool set.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not sure what it's called, but it's really tough to switch tools. Like
Yeah, and get the same feel of the same game.
Oh,
to
yeah.
get that feel that you had in another engine is really
so
hard.
I think and that can kind of evolve a game over time. Like when I started playing Mass Effect Andromeda, there was parts initially that it just felt different to me, and it was really hard to dig into it. Like I had a hard time taking it seriously, like the story segments at the beginning. And I know people harp
Yeah.
on the animation and all that stuff, but there was just you can get a little hokey with like the talking once I'm invested in a story. Like a good game that kind of got me emotionally in a big AAA game was Horizon, which like I loved the first couple hours of that. Where
and that
I
came
was,
out around the exact same time.
Yep.
yeah, and so like the first couple hours of that, I was just like blown away with
Yeah.
the storytelling, and like
It hooks you in.
there was an emotional response, and then they're just like, okay, and now we're just going to be a silly dinosaur game almost, but like there's that. But at that point, I was already bought in. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is amazing.
Yeah.
But and I completed that one, and I loved it. And this one, I was just like, it's not enough to start. So
For sure.
yeah. So I think a lot of people didn't give it enough chance, maybe.
Yeah, and that's what I heard consistently was like, oh, it gets better about like 8 to 10 hours in. And I'm like,
Yeah,
that's
those games
way
are-
too much time
Yeah,
to put in
that's a lot
for
of
something to
time.
get better.
Yeah. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting that the reception directly led to them probably canceling single-player DLC plans.
Yeah.
Another interesting story that was it's just not something you think about. 330,000 Rust owners have asked for Steam refunds. Rust is a survival game. It's one of I wouldn't say original, but like it's one of that early wave of survival games where you go in and you have to like craft things, and it's you versus the environment, also versus other players.
Yeah,
you can build a little.
It's a zombie
hut.
game, and you've mentioned how much you hate zombie games.
It's not a zombie game.
Yeah, it is.
Rust isn't a zombie game.
I'm pretty sure there's zombies in it.
Maybe, but it's not. That's not like the primary drive.
Maybe there's a
Rust is the one where you're
zombie mode.
you start naked and you can like throw poop at each other and stuff.
Oh.
Which Ark adopted, of course. But
okay, maybe I'm mixing these up.
Anyway, 330,000 people have tried to refund Rust.
The total.
$4.3 million.
That's a lot of fucking money.
That's a lot of Rust.
And for Rust, I mean, Rust is huge, and so that's probably a kind of insignificant dent for them. But this is interesting because Rust was a Greenlight game, which is Steam's program where you can kind of launch a game when it's still alpha or even pre-alpha. And from everything I've seen, it was janky as fuck when it came out, and still is to this day. It kind of never like got to the AAA polish level. So I thought it was interesting because a lot of games are doing this. This is a huge new movement. I mean, Minecraft kind of started this when Notch started selling Minecraft for $7 way before it was done, and then upped the price as he developed it. Mm-hmm. But Minecraft got to a point where
but how'd that work out for him?
A couple $1 billion franchise, and it was super polished, and it's on consoles, and everyone loves it. Rust is still just really janky, and I think this kind of
to be fair, Minecraft still looks the same.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, have you seen those pixels?
Yeah. But that's That's his art style.
I think there's just something more to read about. Like, there's more to read into this whole situation rather than like this being like a janky game. This is a scary proposition, like for just people releasing things on Steam in general. Because you look at this, and there's something at the end of this article where they said in the past 24 hours, 225,000 people have asked for their money back. So, in just one day of time. They got 225,000 refund requests on Steam. That's insane. How do they process all of that?
Is that even, I mean, is it allowed?
Automatically.
Yeah. If you play the game less than 2 hours, you can ask for your money back.
Yep.
So, okay.
And so, but if you go over 2 hours, you cannot. And this is scary because a lot of games, like short indie games and stuff, maybe only take 2 hours to finish,
Potentially.
And so, I don't know. Like, they're saying that the game has sold 5.5 million copies, and then so $330,000. That's a pretty large percentage of that. People
330,000 copies.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good chunk, but like you said, like if they're making that a ridiculous amount more than that.
Yeah.
And then I wonder what this does to the piracy market. Like having the option to go in and try the game without pirating it, I think might have some effect. So maybe that kind of outweighs this a little bit.
I think this is also interesting because Rust is a very specific type of game, right? And like people play these games and they're all janky. All these survival games are fucking janky in certain ways. And so they have bugs and they don't perform very well and they're ugly sometimes. And so this could be just a lot of people jumping in and because they're seeing it's a popular game, right? Oh, I want to try that. And then they see like, oh, this isn't what I'm used to. Yeah. I'm used to a way more polished experience.
Yeah, this is
I
not
don't
a
want
full
this.
game.
And like I think this is a good thing because there are way too many games that come out these days in a state that's just unplayable. Mm-hmm. And there's only one game I've ever bought into the pre-release hype on, and that was a game called The Forest. And that was another one of these survival games where it's like you're in a forest.
And that was single player, right?
Yeah, it's single player, and there's like scary creatures and monsters in the forest, and you got to build a hut and try to survive, and like they'll eventually find where you are.
Yeah.
And it's like you'll wake up one morning and there's just a guy standing like maybe 50 yards out, like behind a tree, like looking at you, and you're like, "Fuck! They found where I am." And so you have to you either have to build up your defenses and like try to fend them off when they come in the next couple days, or like you have to just move everything. You lose everything and just go somewhere else. And that game was so awesome. I loved it until I was playing it for a couple in-game days straight, right, where I was surviving, and like all of a sudden all the animals were gone because there was a bug where apparently the animals for you to hunt and eat would just disappear. So I couldn't actually survive. I died and I lost because there's a bug where after a couple days the animals will just die out.
That's ridiculous.
And then you can't keep playing pretty much.
And you paid money for this game.
I paid $20.
Yeah.
So the thing that I don't like about survival games like that is like you play and you learn a bit about the rules of the game, and then you die because you didn't know a rule. And then you play again, you try to go longer, and then you find a new rule that you haven't figured out, and you die. And there's only so much that I can take of that. Like the first time I'm really interested in it, and then I get really tired of it.
I think if there's enough like really cool stuff to discover, then it's fun for a good amount of time.
Yeah.
But I get where you're coming from. Like this game was so awesome because like Maggie would actually like sit next to me and we'd like play, like I would play and she would be watching because it's so engrossing, like the horror elements of it, just like the fact that like you're just trying to hide from this race of like cannibals or whatever in the forest, and like they just do such an awesome job with like, they're just like walking through and going on patrols, and like that moment of them discovering you and how creepy that is so cool. It's so well done. And then like, so the next day there'll be 2 guys standing there, and then 3 guys, and like it's always kind of them like looking at you and like weighing, can they get to you or can you fend them off? And it's such a cool concept, but the game was just so buggy.
I want to go back to this story real quick because I feel like this is like the whole early release thing is kind of it's really good, and it's also really scary because as a developer, I imagine like if you show a game like early enough on, it's really hard to tell where it's going to end up. And so you have people buying a game and they don't really know where it's going to end up. Like you might say, okay, I want like if we were making a Titanfall game and I'm saying like if we had done this for Titanfall
1
and and so they come out with like, okay, we're gonna have these dudes, and then we're gonna have mechs, like giant mech suits, right? And so we put the first mech suit in, and he's like 2 people tall, right? He's like 10 feet tall.
Yeah, that's
12 feet
two
tall.
pretty short people.
Two persons tall. All right, so he's like 10 feet tall or 12 feet tall.
1 person plus 1 person equals
so
2
10 feet.
So you start playing the game, like there's an expectation, like that's okay, well that's what it is. And then like in our minds we're like, okay, well that's not big enough, we make it 22 feet tall.
Right.
Like you start you're tweaking a game that someone has already kind of started to enjoy a certain part of it. And so it's really scary to imagine like I was on the early release stuff of like the Don't Starve game, which was a fun survival game. But they would they would change the rules and
people would get pissed.
And people would get mad because it's like I found an exploit basically that was like if I they had a machine that gave you knowledge or something, and so I found out that if you just like put a certain type of thing in it, you got way more knowledge than anything else. And then they of course fixed that, and then it was like it didn't
not
make
as
it,
fun,
I was like I was happy that I found a rule that I could
that
break.
game is so unforgiving. That game is really hard. Don't Starve. I could never get very far.
You always starve. Also, this is something that is rampant in any sort of live game. So like for League of Legends, this is something that we have to balance, where everyone has their like champion affinities, or they like a certain role, or they like just some piece of the game. And when we change it, we have to take that into account. So we do a lot of champion reworks. So for like Galio, for example, we completely changed him. And some people were diehard Galio players, and we knew that he was unhealthy for the game at large. But for those people who like really love that champ, that can be tough to take. So we have to pull it off in a way that makes them happy and makes other players happy as well. And that's just a really tough. What is this website, Brad?
What?
There's like
my God, there are
straight up
boobs
nipples on this
everywhere.
website.
It's the Sunday Express.
Wow, you won't let me use GameSpot, but you're using this like half porn
Well,
site.
you're jumping into the next story. Okay, well, we'll jump into the next story then.
Yeah.
This is from National
I mean, that's a
Enquirer.
tough thing to balance, and I think it's really tough when you have a large developer trying to do that. So I'm interested to see what happens.
Okay, so the next story, we're going to be comparing the PlayStation Plus versus Xbox games with Gold for July 2017.
Cool.
They were just
wonder
announced
what you guys
this
will
week.
The one I have, probably.
I think that this article actually only talks about the Xbox One and the PS4 games, so we'll just talk about those since
Well, that's
those
all
are the
that
only ones that
matters.
really matter. For PS4 this week, or this month, for July, you're getting Until Dawn.
Please download that.
This is
Please.
such an awesome game. I'm going to
Such a
read the
good
little
game.
description here. Follow 8 typical high school teenagers out to an isolated mountain lodge to commemorate the tragic loss of 2 friends and watch as power outages,
Nothing will
unexplained
happen.
disappearances, and a healthy dose of hormonal hijinks transform the momentous gathering into a desperate fight for survival.
Yeah, this is actually another thing I played this week. We went through the
Oh, you
second
did?
half of the game. Yeah, but I actually had to leave right before the like 20 minutes before the end. But I heard what happened, heard who died, heard what the scenarios were.
Yeah.
And it played out fairly differently. So it was really interesting to just see it from a different perspective.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I played through with Cassie, and I want to play through it again
It's
and
so
see how
good.
different
See if you can save everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up for PlayStation 4 this month, you're getting Game of Thrones, a Telltale series. In this original story from the talented team at Telltale Games, you'll take control of the Forrester family, a noble and long-standing house from the north of Westeros with deep loyalties to the Starks. Caught up in the War of the Five Kings, it'll be up to you to guide the beset members of the Forrester family through a maelstrom of bloody warfare, revenge, and intrigue as the Northern Kingdoms begin to tear themselves apart. That's an awesome game, actually. I really, really liked
Hodor.
the Game of Thrones Telltale series. Did either one of you guys play that one?
I played part of the first episode, and then I stopped, and then I played part of the first episode again, and then I stopped.
God, dude, it's good. It's really good.
The
If you
game
finish that first
sucks.
episode, it's good.
No, it seems good. It was just like, oh man,
They do a surprising job
don't
of
have the
making
energy.
that story feel so Game of Thrones. Like, at any moment, you really just don't know who's going to die.
Yeah.
And it's awesome because I read the books, and so, like, reading the books and then watching the show, it's like, okay, you kind of, like, know what's going to happen. They stick to it, like, they stick to each other pretty well.
Yeah.
But this new story in the style of Game of Thrones was just so exciting. So if you're a fan of Game of Thrones, and you can deal with Telltale games, some people can't because they're a little too slow paced or they're a little too buggy or whatever. The Game of Thrones one was actually not buggy in my experience compared to like some of the more recent ones, but the story's really cool. All right, so Xbox. We're getting 2 Xbox games.
Runbow?
Runbow.
With tons of competitive modes for up to 9 players, locally and online, and a massive single-player adventure, Runbow is the crazy color-based platformer you've been waiting for. The world of Runbow changes with each swipe of the background, so you'll have to stay on your toes as platforms and obstacles disappear. If you can't see something, it doesn't exist. Fast, frantic, and fun for up to 9 players, Runbow is filled with tons of modes and content to keep you running back for more.
Hodor.
Joke doesn't work as well the second time.
Damn it.
What's this next one, Sean?
Grow Up, and I think this is a sequel or spiritual successor to Grow Home,
Yeah.
which was like a weird, I would call it a weird climbing game.
It's a weird climbing robot platformer.
Weird plant climbing game.
Wow, I'm a robot.
Yeah, he meows apparently. While out exploring the galaxy with Mom, Bud's parental spaceship, she goes to pieces. Literally, Mom is all over the place. The positioning of that moon was inconsiderate. Now, her ship parts are scattered far and wide across an entire alien planet. So rich in flora and fauna, it would make even the most jaded galactic gardener's head spin.
All right.
That was a weird description.
Yeah.
Didn't really get
those
much
are
out of
the
that.
2 current gen games for PS Plus this week. I think Sony wins.
I agree.
I'd say Sony win. I do have a bone to pick.
Okay, pick the bone.
An X-Bone?
This
Oh, he's got an X bone to pick.
I have an X bone to pick because I was listening to your post E3 show.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. You got a
And,
fan over here.
all two of us listeners had the same response. No, I was listening and I didn't like your Xbone 8X.
Xbone 8X?
Xbone X.
See, even you can't even fucking say the name.
Xbone X.
Xbox
Xbone
One X.
Infinity.
So wait, you got a problem with us not liking the name of Xbox
No.
One X?
No, I just feel like you're selectively ignoring the fact that PlayStation Pro is also a silly name.
What?
Professional.
Yeah, exactly. This is what
Fucking
I said.
locked down.
You tried to bring this shit up with me
Tuxedos.
earlier this week. I'm not having it.
Okay.
Professional. Professional box for games. You're playing games professionally.
pros.
Good games.
Oh, I see. You're an amateur. That's why you don't get it.
Oh, is that what
You're
it
an
is?
amateur
Okay, so
game
what's
player.
pro-
Wait, are you
about
an X?
PlayStation?
Are you an X-Bon 1X?
X-Bon. X-Bon.
No.
I'm just saying. Hey, we're all
gamers.
We're all
here,
trying
dude.
to enjoy
We're all
games.
Gamers. Yeah.
Yo,
I'm
if-
gonna buy an Xbox One X.
You
Great.
are?
That's great.
Yes.
You're gonna buy? Don't you already have an Xbox One? Regular?
Non-X?
Yes. A non-pro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, what kind of PS4 do you have?
A regular PS4.
Why don't you get a PS4 Pro instead of an Xbox
'Cause
One?
I'm-
Oh, we
as
got an
you-
Xbot over here.
Well, here's why. The PS4 Pro doesn't play 4K Blu-rays. So why the fuck is that, Sony?
Well, yeah,
There you
I
go.
would like to ask that question too, Sony. Write in, please, at GameStuffPodcast@gmail.com. Just tell us why
Please.
don't we have a 4K Blu-ray player in the PS4 Pro? Because I have a PS4 Pro. I have
Then
a 4K
BigRig will
TV.
buy it.
Here's the thing.
Here's the thing.
You don't need it
Here's
because you
the
got
thing,
4K
guys.
Amazon, you got 4K Netflix, you got 4K
Yeah.
you
do you
too.
like streaming 4K video with
know what that
complete
sound-
artifacts and compression?
Yeah.
It looks pretty good on Netflix, man.
It doesn't.
It does.
No, not
Yeah, it
compared
does.
to something on physical media.
It's.
Ask the artist.
I'd like the option, and the fact
I would
that
like the option.
I don't want to
I
rebuy
don't wanna
a
buy-
PS4.
I don't wanna
Here-
buy
all right,
Blu-rays.
I am a very selective market. You know why?
Okay. No, I don't.
Because I would like to retire my Xbox because it's a special.
Oh, it
Xbox.
is. Yeah, but I don't even touch mine, so it's already retired.
I just
so
touched it.
so I would say my point is just be more fair and balanced on this podcast because it's not called PlayStation.
No, it's not. But here's the thing. We don't have that much knowledge about Xbox because we don't play it. So we can be as fair and balanced as we can without having that deep knowledge. But at the end of the day, like, we just...
It sounds like
It sucks, so we're going to hate on it.
It sounds like
No, here's the thing.
here's the thing. No, here's the thing.
Here's the
We
thing.
like all the boxes and the systems
stations and the
cubes.
and the centers
and the Switch.
yeah and use we like them all. I just think the Xbox One X is a stupid name, and I think $500 is too expensive. They're competing with the PS4 Pro. That's what they're trying to compete with, and they're launching $100 more than it. And I
can you
know
watch
it's more expensive.
4K Blu-rays.
No, you cannot.
I'll
but
bet
I'm telling you right now.
Competition
I'm telling you right now,
over.
when the Xbox
BigRig.
One X comes out, the PS4 Pro is going to drop its price. I guarantee it.
I'll bet that you don't have $500 in your pocket right now. But guess what? I'll bet you have 400.
Yeah, I bet you do.
I know it.
Is that because you guys paid me $400 to be on your show?
No, you're going to have to
You're
pay
paying
us
us, remember?
$400 to be on the show.
We only accept PlayStation Pros.
Yeah.
I'll give you 400 PlayStation bucks.
All right.
All right.
Actually, no, you would take it.
Speaking of PlayStation Bucks, the last story for the weekly roundup this week. This one's interesting because I think it's finally showing the cracks in Sony's fucking PlayStation Network store right now. The story
Cracks
is
begin to show.
Sony pulls down game claiming to offer world's fastest platinum trophy. And I'm going to read this because this shit is fucking ridiculous. Sony's decided to take down a game that was claiming to contain the fastest platinum trophy ever made. Eurogamer reports Sony quickly pulled down the indie game titled 5 stars. Not 5 stars the word. It's literally 5 like star images, like emoji stars. 1,000 top rated. That's the name of the game. 5 star, 1,000 top rated.
Yep.
From PSN, and asked the developer to change the game's name and remove any mention of trophies.
So that was their attempt to game the SEO on the PlayStation
Yeah, the
Network.
Platinum Trophy reportedly could have been earned in 20 minutes as it only consisted of easy interactive tile puzzles made out of 4K wallpapers. Additionally, the game was priced at just 98 cents.
I love this game. First of all, it's 5 stars, top rated.
It is one of the best rated games.
I just
1,000
described
top
this
rated.
name.
Rate it?
That's all.
1,000 top rated.
I'd rate it 4.
So what this shows is that Sony has no idea what's going on with their store.
Well, they
How
pulled
could
it down.
this game now? This game's been out for like a year or more.
Isn't there a cert process for this? Like,
Yeah, there's at least a cert for our games.
The cert process
how
is
is
you
this
pay
game-
them money.
How did this game get through without them seeing the title was 5-star top rated, and in the description it says get the world's fastest platinum trophy? How could that get through?
Yeah, I think the method that
No
they're
one
using,
is checking these games.
Yeah, they aren't checking. They're just hoping that the good stuff rises to the top.
This is how you get Life of Black Tiger.
I mean,
to
to
this
be
is how you
fair,
get these ridiculous, terrible games.
to be fair though, look at the App Store. Look at Google Play. Look at any other market that has gotten this large, and they all have this shit.
No,
at the
exactly,
bottom.
and that's what the consoles should not be. You're paying for a curated gaming experience. You're not.
You're paying on
for
iOS
all
as
these
well.
It's not all these free things. Like the PlayStation Store. Like this happened to games in the '80s. It's why the games blew up. Atari went under because everyone and their fucking grandma and their grandma's sister and
Wow.
shit was making games for Atari. You
What
had
was your-
Quaker
really?
Oatmeal.
Great
Quaker
aunt?
Oatmeal
A
was
great aunt?
making Atari games. And then you had like the bubble burst when ET comes out, and you have like what they shipped how many millions of that game, and it sold like
Straight into the ground.
and it sold a couple thousand copies, and they had to bury them all because when you have no quality control over what games are getting released on your system, people get burnt.
Well,
And
there are multiple-
They drop out. Like,
there are multiple
This is why
solutions to
Nintendo
this.
put the stamp of approval. This is why Nintendo
Sure.
will only let like you make 2 or 3 games for their system. A
Sure,
year
but that was a
fair,
very different
back in the
time.
day.
To be fair, if 1000 top rated was on the Switch, people would buy it because there's not enough games
Yeah,
on
it'd
the
be like the 7th game.
I would play that on my Switch because I would like to organize 4K tiles.
on your 720p
On your 720 screen. Yeah, so I think, yes, they should have some sort of curation guidelines and process. But at the same time, like the way they can solve this is by presenting us the good stuff and letting this stuff fall to the bottom. If someone wants to get a platinum trophy and it doesn't break rules, that's fine. It seems like this game probably broke the assumed rules of a platinum trophy that you should actually do some work for it. But I feel like it's not some great tragedy that this game existed and that people bought it for 98 cents.
No, I don't think it's a tragedy that people bought it. I think it's a tragedy that Sony is letting this shit get on their store. Like, I don't need 40 new games every week on the PlayStation Network if 38 of them are going to be this.
Yeah, my point is
don't
I
want
never
that.
saw this game, and that's fine. I wouldn't have
That's
known
because
about
this game's
this
been out
without
for a
this
long
article.
time.
Well,
but I mean,
had
like,
my PS4
I
for a
look at
long
the
time.
I look at the PlayStation Network every week, and I look through all the games, and I see so much shit. Like, there's a
Okay.
game called Skylight Free Range.
Well,
got
how is
to
that?
win.
Why do you look through all the games?
And
why
like,
are
what
you
the
so
hell
much
does that
shit?
even mean?
I feel like this is your
Because
fault.
I'm a gamer. I like looking to see what comes out, and I want to
Ooh.
see cool things. And when I have to search through 30 bullshit games just to get to Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, that's
You know they have a
stupid.
search thing though.
Yeah, I know they have a search, but I like to look at all the new games
There
that
are
come out every week.
filters.
That's just
You
something
can-
I like to do. I
You can
like
listen to podcasts. Hint,
hint.
You can look at
To the
news
people who
sites.
are fucking listening to the podcast.
Yeah,
by the
you
way.
I
can-
recommend 1099 podcasts.
Like there are.
they get all the top hits.
Top
They do.
I mean, there are a lot of
Mike
ways.
Laidlaw.
There are a lot of ways for you to avoid this problem.
Wait, can
is
you
all I'm saying.
can you crack some new news for us so people will write about our podcast?
Hey guys, the next Zelda game is
Crack
in
some
development.
news, dog.
Guys,
Oh,
guys,
yeah, it is.
I was on the
Assumed.
deep web and IGN is going blue.
What instead of
Ooh.
red?
Yeah, no, I'm just lying. That was
You're straight up
joke.
lying to us,
Well,
lying to
I mean,
our
you could-
users, our listeners. Sorry, users.
I'm just saying. I'm not saying they
they're
won't.
readers, Sean.
I'm not
They're
saying
not
they
reading.
will.
All right, Brad. What came out
Let's-
this week?
Yeah. What came out this week? Okay.
No,
what do you
I
mean?
am
What's
asking
coming
you.
out? What is coming out this week?
What's coming out this week?
All right, so we're gonna do a quick read through of some games coming out this week. There's not a lot.
There are
It's,
like
we are
3.
in the throes of summer.
Yeah.
It is getting hot,
The eyes
and
of
games are slowing
July.
down. So we're
Look-
just looking at an upcoming.
Why can't we have more games in the summer? It's when I want to be inside with the
I
AC.
say this all
Yeah.
the time. Yeah, I love.
Of course, I want to be inside with the heat in the winter. I want to be inside. I
I want to be
basically
inside.
want to be
You just wanna be
Give me
inside at all
games.
times.
Give me games all year long. Don't slow it down just because the kids are out of school.
stupid kids.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that has
I mean,
anything to do
that's-
with
We
that.
gotta
that's why
get
you
them some
should release
exercise.
games.
They can't be playing video games.
Video games.
Vidya James.
Video
Okay,
games.
so upcoming this week. So we're gonna do a list, just a couple stuff from IGN. I think there's a lot more stuff coming out according to Metacritic, but I don't know. I guess if IGN doesn't care about it, does that mean no one else should?
You could say that, I guess.
You know what? We're gonna do both. We're gonna read the IGN
He
up
talked
this
himself
week.
out of it.
Xbox One is getting Toby, the Secret Mine.
All right.
Toby, the Secret Mine is an otherworldly puzzle platformer inspired by games like Limbo and Badlands.
Okay.
All right.
I'd like to point out IGN that their picture has Xbox One and the name actually says PlayStation
Yeah.
4.
It does
So it's
say
confusing.
PlayStation
Wait.
I don't know
Okay.
what I'm going for.
Okay. Next up, Excel World versus Sword Art Online Millennium Twilight. This is coming out for PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita. Virtual and accelerated worlds collide in this action-packed crossover of the hit anime series Excel World and Sword Art Online.
That's pretty crazy.
Okay.
How has Sword Art Online in the past 2 years gotten so big that it's having crossover video games?
Yeah, how does it have so many games? It's insane.
Yeah.
All right, next up,
This one could be awesome.
Kirby's Blowout Blast for 3DS, coming out this week, July 6th. Based on the Kirby Planet Robobot micro game, Kirby's Blowout Blast lets you have a blast inhaling foes and blowing them away in 3D environments across 25-plus stages.
Cool.
All right.
What's a micro game?
A mini game.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess a mini game or something.
A mini game that they want to now sell for $40.
That's what it is.
All right. So, yeah, I guess that's all we'll read for this week. I mean,
Yeah, that's pretty much
There's
it.
just kind of like a bunch of other little things coming out for PC or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I think we're gonna get into a little bit of main topic talk here.
Oh, main topic?
Yeah. This is the
What is our main topic?
main topic comes from Momocart via Reddit. Momocart says, with the game industry being a notoriously difficult area to break into, what advice do you guys have for budding young game developers? Now we're going to start with our special guest here because
He's clapping for himself.
Shut up.
I'm sure I've heard this story before. But how did you get into games? What was your path? Let's just give our quick path of how we got in to these budding young
five
game
words or
developers.
less.
Yes.
I went to art school, and then I went to game company. Yeah, so I went to art school, and then for animation, I initially got a job in QA for a short time, and just because
You did QA work?
I did QA
Where at?
work, a company called Crave.
Okay.
And so I tested a lot of poker games and things like that.
Gambling man over here.
But it was cool. It was good to see that side of it. And I got a few months later, I got into a VFX job, and I kind of assumed I would move over to animation at some point because that was kind of where I thought my career was going.
Uh-huh.
But I ended up really kind of falling in love with effects and realizing that there's not a lot of effects people out there,
Yeah.
so it's something I could own, and so I stayed in effects and just worked my way through that, and that's pretty much it.
That's awesome because I kind of have a similar story where I went to school for music and eventually just kind of started dabbling with sound design and then did my first audio internship at a video game company. And from that moment on, I was like you fell in love with visual effects. I fell in love with sound design. And that was it. I went to school for music, thought maybe I would do something with music as a career, but instead started doing sound design and just realized that was kind of the perfect combination of all my abilities and something that I was just really creative and fun. And I really love that. So I kind of have the similar story where went to school for music, did an internship. The internship is kind of what set me on my path because I did an internship at Insomniac, and that kind of gave me the credentials I needed to get looked at least by other companies. Because that's the hardest part. The hardest part is always getting those people to look at you.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, that's a whole separate topic I can
yeah, totally.
speak to because the at the end of art school you have a portfolio review show, and this was kind of a key moment where I met someone from Shiny Entertainment that
Oh, nice.
and got into contact with him, and so basically, and you have to be really presentable all the time, but you have to also be kind of tenacious, and so
Yeah, you totally.
you have to I would update my demo reel and I would send him a link and say, hey,
Check it out.
check this out. Maybe because basically at that point he kind of knew I was a nice guy and whatever, and but so it was all just based on if the company thought I had the skills and stuff. So you have to keep fighting for that. I will say for new people, just because of the way things have kind of evolved, that if you're looking to get into, let's say, the VFX position or animation or art, that there are a lot of schools out there for this, but a lot of them you can get to where you're going through that, but there's other paths that might be easier to go to without as much debt and all that stuff.
Yeah,
because
I agree.
It gets much more expensive.
I say this all the time. Don't go to these schools that are specifically like, we're going to teach you video game animation, or we're going to teach you video game sound design. Don't ever do that. Go to a school that's like got a go to a school that's got a really good animation program. Like they're like a classical art trained animation program, or go to a school that like where I went, where it's like it's a music school. It's not teaching you sound design, because those things you can add on to your skills and teach yourself a lot of times, or get that ball rolling on your own. Where like to get a really good foundational education, that's the hard part, and that's what you should be paying for. You should be paying for like, learn how to be a good artist before you decide to be a video game artist.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people that art schools in particular are filled with a lot of well-meaning students who weren't really artists, or that they didn't have that drive, but they loved video games. And so at some point their dad or their mom or their grandpa said, well, we got to put you into school somewhere, boy. And they're like, well, I like video games. And they paid through the nose to put them into an expensive video game school. If I would say, like, to weed yourself out from that, if your parents and stuff are cool with it, and even in high school you can start doing this. There's so many online resources that you can, even for free on YouTube, but there's places to learn a lot of the tips and tricks to get this stuff going, and you'll get a job interview based on good work.
Exactly.
And like
have something to show. Make stuff. Always be making stuff so that you can show it.
Yeah, we've reached out to artists on like ArtStation and places where they just share their demo reel, and we've hired an awesome animator just from his YouTube videos. And you will, the cream rises to the top. If you are really good and passionate, you can get your stuff shown. You can learn on your own. And if you can't learn on your own, it's often a sign that maybe that's not the place you want to go.
Yeah.
There's other ways into the game industry, like you can take an alternate path and try to get into the testing. Testing can.
All three of us did that, actually.
Yeah,
Sean and I both started doing testing in at Electronic Arts in Salt Lake City.
Awesome. Yeah, and it's a good place to I'd say, like, if you can try to be at a developer side testing, but you don't always have control over that.
Yeah, it's harder.
If you're interested in this, like, take whatever kind of comes just to get some experience, because once you have experience, it is a lot easier to then get the next job, or find a place where you can land that gives you the opportunities to grow into something else. Like, you can still be working on things. You can learn from the developers on what they're looking for. You can start mimicking their behavior, mimicking that how they behave, how they interact, communicate. At some point, you will be looked at like, oh, that guy could be an assistant producer, or he could be this, or he could help with the animation department here. So make yourself. That's kind of a way to get into the industry, where you can be working on your side stuff, hopefully, and still have a job. So I like, don't knock any job that there's many steps to. There's many rungs of the ladder. So
I would say whatever you're doing, just make sure you're having fun with it too, because that really always shows through. Like, just have fun with what you're doing. Like, making video games is fun, and like, we're all creative and we're all passionate, and we all just like want to make something fun. And so, like, when I was trying to get into the game industry, like, I was just making sure that I was always just like had positive energy. It was just like, don't let like rejections bring you down. Just keep going at it, and just like every connection you make, if someone is like, hey, sorry, like, we don't think you're right for this at this time, you just say, oh, like, thanks for getting back to me, I really appreciate that. Like, if there's any kind of feedback you would have for me, like, I would love to hear it. And like, I got tons of feedback, and a lot of like my early rejections, like when just like I would do a test for someone, they're like, oh no, and then I'd be like, oh, I would love to know like where you think I could improve. And every step just gets you closer and closer. Every failure gets you closer to
always
that
be
success.
improving.
So I agree with a lot. I mean, all of that pretty much. But I think drive and connections are the two big things that school doesn't give you.
Yeah.
So like whether you go to college or not, which honestly doesn't even matter for
No.
most jobs in video games, you need to be busting your ass in your free time to build your skills. And it's not just about playing games. That's part of it, obviously, but it's about experimenting and honing your craft and adapting.
Yeah.
And taking an iterative approach and figuring out like, okay, so I downloaded UEK and I made a level and it's kind of a piece of shit. How can I improve that?
That's how Sean and I started. Like we got the Unreal Engine and we were like, we're gonna make this crazy horror level in this game. I remember putting like owls in the trees and like,
yeah,
and it was like,
and also the connections help you do that more efficiently. So you can show things to people. You can show them your work. You can kind of work with them a bit and get an idea of what they're doing and what people around them are doing, and then you can really just like find the most efficient path to mastering your craft.
Yeah.
And that is tough. And like BigRig said, take jobs, like take a QA job, take another job that gets you closer to developers and gets you in the industry and puts you into the conversation so that next step is easier. It's going to take a while, and there are a lot of shitty low-wage jobs. Like QA does not pay very well.
Nope.
But there's a lot more to it than just what you're getting paid, because you're getting experience, you're getting to meet
you're gonna
producers.
learn a lot more about making a game doing QA than any other part.
And then you can parlay that into another job and after a year or whatever, look for other jobs and figure it out, and look at something that is outside of your comfort zone and make the leap, and then you can kind of boop 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 use your stepping stones to get to where you're really trying to go.
Yeah, make connections. Go to game dev meetups. Go to conferences. Go to like PAXs and stuff. Like just get around other game developers and meet them and make friends with them and just like hang out, and don't just shove yourself on someone like in like a fake way, like where you're just like trying to like, hey, here's my reel and here's all my stuff. Like, just hang out with people. Just just hang out and make genuine connections. And those genuine connections are gonna maybe someday pay off in a big way.
And the reason Brad sounds a little pissed off when he says that is because a lot of people do exactly that.
Yeah, and it gets really frustrating. Like you're hanging out with your friends at something like some event, and then people will come up to you and they'll just butt right in. Like they won't even like wait for a moment to jump into the actual conversation, and they'll kind of just butt one in and be like, "Hey, what do you do? What do you do?" Like you get that all the time. They come up and like, "What do you do?"
Hard sell.
Well, I do this, and then it's like the whole conversation, like everyone just kind of disperses, and you're just stuck there talking to someone who.
And a lot of times too, like if let's say you're an audio guy and you walk up and you see someone with a tag that says
Audio.
It says like where they work or something.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And you walk up and you're like, "Oh, Naughty Dog. What do you do?" And they're like, "Oh, I'm an artist." He's like, "Oh, I'm an audio guy," and then they walk away.
Exactly. They'll do that.
Like, "Oh wow,
you're not an audio guy too."
I could have maybe talked to you, but now we're So there's a lot of weirdness, and I'll say like back to the like taking jobs and be an advocate for yourself. This isn't really just about game development. This is broader, but a lot of places you need to kind of let people know, like let your boss know that you want to be manager of GameStop. Let your boss know that like be an advocate for yourself.
Yeah,
because
just
a lot
say
of times
like you have aspirations, you have goals.
Your job should never be easy wherever you are.
A lot of times managers are looking at like, okay, should we hire for this higher position at some point? Okay, we need a producer. Is there anyone in QA that wants to do this? And you'd be surprised that a lot of times, like either they don't know or people haven't brought it up that I want to do that, or I want to jump into this role, or so yeah. Like as companies grow, they're going to need more and more people. So
yeah, I think like so. Sean and I, when we were first starting to try to get into the game industry, we flew ourselves out to GDC a couple years in a row. And when we went to GDC, we just wanted to make friends, pretty much. That's kind of what it came down to. Like we had resumes and we walked around, and it was a learning experience. Like going to GDC was such an eye-opening learning experience for us. We came there with resumes, and we just went
you
up
left
to...
in tears.
Yeah, we did every year.
It was the real world, man.
We went up to HR people, we went up to recruiters, and we would show them our resumes, and we'd be like, "What do you think of this?" And that's just, and like, I remember I sat down with this one Sony HR recruiter. I wish I could remember her name, or I wish I knew who she was, because she helped so much. She sat down with my resume, we literally just talked over it. She looked
Yep.
at it and she was like, "Oh, I like
Remove
this.
this, remove
I
that."
don't like this. I love this.
That's
Ooh,
awesome.
you should do this." And then so we went like I think multiple times during that week, we would take our resume, bring it back, retype it up at the room, go down to Staples or
Yep.
Kinko's, and then we would reprint them out. And we would like, okay, should we get the nice
On the
paper
good
this time?
paper. Oh, we can't afford it.
Should we get, like, yeah, can we afford the 10-cent paper over the 5-cent paper? We're
Yeah.
so broke. And like the whole week it was $5 footlongs, you know, because like that's
Oh, yeah.
all we could eat. And so we spent that time learning what they would want from us, what they would expect from us. And
Yeah.
it wasn't just us trying to force ourselves on them. Like we wanted to learn from them what they wanted, you know?
Yeah.
And then we spent a lot of time just going around and talking. Like even like we would go up to them and be like, hey, like I'm Brad, this is Sean, like he's a writer, I'm doing sound stuff. And almost every single company would be like, well, yeah, we're not really hiring for audio guys, right?
Yeah.
But we wouldn't just walk away. We would just be like, we would just press them, be like,
Just talk
what?
about-
Why don't you like audio guys, you know? Like we would just like make jokes.
And talk
like,
about their projects. And
yeah,
just
we
kind of
talk
get
about
to
what
know
they're
them.
doing, and like everywhere we went, like we left this positive impression on the recruiting people. And like a lot of times, you remember like people would be like, "Are you guys comedians or something?" Like you remember that?
Yeah.
Like we're like, "No, we're not comedians." Like,
Are
we
you
just-
hiring comedians?
Yeah, because. And it was fun, and like we made a lot of friends, and eventually after like a couple years of going to GDC, there was a connection that I made through GDC that is what allowed me to get my job at Respawn. And it took time, it wasn't fast, but like BigRig said, tenacity, like to be tenacious, to chase after the goal, like don't give up and just keep going at it in different ways, and don't be annoying about it, just be a friend. Be
confident and be
confident.
humble.
Yeah, and
because,
humble. And
because
look
if you
for advice.
walk in, like there's a lot of people that like I spent a lot of money at my art school, and then and I was working at GameStop actually during school. Well, when I wasn't at school.
Okay.
During
Wow,
my
just
time.
skipping classes.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. I gotta skip class and go work, guys. No, so I worked at GameStop, and that was another eye-opening experience because you get a different side of that industry, and you learn a little bit about that side. But then it's like when there was an opportunity to go into QA, like I had graduated, I had spent all this money, I had a degree, like I was a real man now.
Yeah,
and
you definitely get that false sense of confidence.
and there, to be honest, there was people that I graduated with that we were like, hey, they're looking for QA over here, and they're like, no,
QA.
like they were above it, and
Yeah.
there's some people that are gonna get lucky and get a job right out of school or right after they finish a demo reel. Most of us, though, it takes a lot of work, and while you're waiting on, the big company to call, like you still need a job probably, and you might as well start taking moves into the right direction, into test, into other things, but just like being good at games or liking to play games a lot is not nearly enough. Like you need a lot of social skills and all this stuff, and that's kind of what they're hitting on, is make yourself fun to be around.
Yeah.
Don't
A lot of
it's
times-
kind of like just be a cool person who wants to work in the industry and hardworking.
Yeah, I'm telling you right now, and I've been in interviews like this, and I'm pretty sure my interview went the same way. Like, you don't have to be the best person at what you're doing. You should actively be striving to try and be better at what you're doing. But I'm telling you right now, like, if you're good at what you do, and you're a nice, fun person to be around, and people like you, you're going to get the job over the person who's amazing, but maybe not as interesting.
Yeah, and you have that improvement mindset, because that's what matters. Like, you can take someone who is excellent at what they do but doesn't work well with others, and maybe can do that thing super well but can't do a thing that's related to it at all.
Yeah.
That's not as valuable to a company as someone who can kind of fit the mold and be the jello.
It's not
and
even
move around
fit, it's not
and
even just a-
change their role to like help the company in a different way.
I don't want to say fit the mold so much, because that sounds like you're looking for something like really specific, or you kind of like you're controlling someone. But
No, I'm saying
I
like
think-
there's a new tech stack and you
need
can
to be
learn
flexible.
It.
Yeah,
You
you
can
need to
learn
be
a new
flexible,
language. You
yeah.
can learn a new art style, and you can like adapt basically.
And like both of us, like with Respawn and Riot, like they're companies that value culture very much, right? And like you want someone who's gonna fit in and jive well with everyone else. You don't want someone who's gonna come in and cause a bunch of drama like that.
Yeah.
It's it's about just being a chill, fun. You're making video games. You're having a good time. Like you don't. It's
You're
like,
hiring a new brother or sister.
exactly.
Child.
So you're gonna be fighting all the time.
But yeah, I think the biggest thing is just experience it. Get out of your comfort zone. Do something new. Feel awkward for a while, and then learn and adapt, and become comfortable, and
then
move
put
on
your
and do
pants
something
back
else.
on.
And put your
Yeah, strip
goddamn
your pants
pants
back
on
on.
for once.
And also it's not said, but hygiene is important.
Good. Yes.
There's people that I've worked with that have been told they had to have HR tell them
That is
you
insane
need to work
to
on
me.
that.
That's
And
insane to
So
me.
you might not
Take
like
showers,
water
people.
or something.
Just take
but
a shower.
Yeah,
Come
get a
on, it's
scrub
not that
brush
hard.
if you can't reach.
Well, I think with
Yeah.
game and tech companies, like there is no dress code. It's much more lax. It's not
Yeah.
a super top-down
Just
environment.
don't smell.
So people feel like they can just do whatever, maybe. But I haven't really seen that. It's kind of interesting.
Yeah, it only happened the one time, and it was in QA, but yeah.
So I guess that's it for tips, and I think that's gonna be rounding up the podcast for us today, guys.
Yeah.
What? I just got here.
I know. It's only been 2 hours
ago. Yeah, that was actually a pretty awesome question. I really hope that anyone who's listening to this and it is really like aspiring to get into the game industry, just keep at it. You know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Failure is part of anything, so don't be afraid of that.
And most people enjoy to some extent talking about themselves. I mean, look what we just talked about. So if you're in a position where like I used to when I was at GameStop, I would actually, if I knew a developer walked in, I would ask them about it. Like, if you
Ask them
see
about
someone
it,
with a dev shirt, ask them. Like, it's an honor to talk to people who are into the games we're making.
Mm-hmm.
So if you see someone with a Riot shirt or a Respawn shirt, it might be one of us. And most of those people are cool to talk to. Like, they're wearing it partially to say, like, hey, this is fun.
We're proud of what we
I'm
do.
proud of what I
Yeah.
do. So, don't go and like hug them secretly or like scare them or whatever. But just ask questions and
Yeah, and if you guys have any more like specific questions for us about what we've done or how we got into the industry, just feel free to write in GameStuffPodcast@gmail.com. This is a conversation between game pals, So
Game pals.
and that's gonna be it for this week. This was Game Stuff episode 8.
Yep.
I think we've actually done like 9 or 10 episodes, but like this is official episode 8.
Officially.
So just want to remind everyone that you can subscribe to us on iTunes, on Google Play. You can follow us on Twitter at GameStuffPod. You can write into the show, GameStuffPodcast@gmail.com. We are running the competition in like 2 weeks. We're going to be drawing for free games. So feel free to subscribe and review us on iTunes. It's going to get you in the competition, or you can send in questions to us. That'll get you an entry into the drawing. And I guess that's it for this week.
Man, you're getting good at that.
I'm
Said
trying.
all the right things.
Saying all the right things.
Nice.
game stuff.
Thanks a lot for joining us, BigRig.
Yeah, it was great.
This
Thank you.
was really fun.
All right.
It's really nice.
See ya.
See you guys.
Bye.
Okay, so BigRig. The way
Yeah.
we always start this show, we do a little song. Sean is the most annoying person to do a podcast with. Jesus Christ.
Yeah? Why don't you ask the listeners who's the most annoying?
Wait, do we?
Hey, guys!
Hey, guys.
Wait, hold up. We didn't.
Is that all right? Huh?
Well, I kind of wish. I kind of wish.